the first system with a modem built directly into it.
Yep.
So you can go online just not without like a third party thing.
Which I think PS2 was the only one to do it later on, or
they did it right after, but Dreamcast did it first.
Dreamcast,
that's all I'm saying.
exactly. No, for sure. And the thing about Dreamcast is that I don't think it gets enough credit for a lot of the games that people know that came out on other consoles were on Dreamcast first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, just Sega.
Darkstalkers, stuff like that.
Sega turning into more of a software and then instead of hardware dropping that, which sucks. Like the PS2 came out so shortly after, and part of what messed up the Dreamcast, like it was several things like marketing stuff that they did wrong.
For sure.
But the PS2 having the DVD player, that was like a big selling point for everybody wanting that. Yeah. And Dreamcast didn't have that, so like that.
I think the games.
Yeah, it had like a really good library. But man, you had Shenmue on the Dreamcast. You had the original Sonic Adventure.
Yeah.
Like some of the soundtracks were some of the best ever. You mentioned Power Stone, Soul Calibur,
Darkstalkers, fucking. The thing about
it was just great.
Capcom vs SNK 2, which is also the greatest. So first of all, if you're into the fighting game circuit, I'm gonna keep it real short. If you're into the fighting game circuit, you probably think the Capcom vs SNK 2 or Marvel vs Capcom 2 are the greatest fighting games ever. For sure, Capcom vs SNK 2 on the Dreamcast, the responsiveness, just how amazing that game was. Like, it was the first one that people were really at home, like able to play like competitively with each other in tournaments and shit. So definitely, Dreamcast was ahead of its time. And then I liked the little memory card thing too, because it reminded me of, remember Digimon had those little pocket devices.
Yeah.
And I always thought in my head, like, what if Dreamcast
had something like
that with their, because I imagine Dreamcast would have stuck around for a lot longer.
They kind of did though, because that Sonic game used to take care of the little
bugs. A lot of games had mobile stuff.
It wasn't advanced enough to where.
That's because it was ahead of its time.
It was.
Like they didn't have.
I wish Sega would have stuck with it, man.
And like,
made some killer shit.
Yeah. Like you could trade Chow and like, not Pokemon, but like there was like lots of games that were like the mini games on the memory card, like added to your data or whatever. And that's what was cool between, like I mentioned, Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2 originally being on the Dreamcast. You can take your Chow from Sonic Adventure 1 and get like ultra rare Chow that are only in that game and then drop them in your Yeah, people don't even know that, like stuff like that. It's just, they were really on it. Sega in general, like I've got a whole battle with my boy Chris. He's the partner on my podcast, Comic Cave. And right now we're doing like a whole Sega versus Nintendo thing. But another talking point on that he hasn't probably heard me bring up just yet is Sega was the first one to do player versus player online. So like they weren't the first, not just Dreamcast, but like Sega as a whole. So like not just like you could go online with other consoles and stuff, but it was like checking your bank account or like you can invest in stocks and stuff. Like I think the Famicom, which was like Japan's original Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like you could do stuff like that. Like it was like an attachment. Like you could literally check your bank account. Bet on horse races and stuff, right? But there wasn't player versus player. That was like for the original Nintendo. Sega, essentially Sega Genesis had like the, what's the Sega Genesis? It was the, I don't want to misspeak on this, but they had the Sega Mega modem or whatever. It's a modem that you attach on the back. And they were the first ones to actually like incorporate a player versus player. So like there was one game, I can't remember what the game was. I think it was a basketball game. And you could play against somebody else, right? And like they had, demonstrated it at like a mall or whatever, and like it did. Of course, everybody was like, "Oh my God, you're playing against somebody else." I don't remember which game it was. Probably, honestly, I think it was one that like didn't last, like the brand or whatever.
Okay, probably NBA.
But yeah, it was. But like apparently it was like super laggy. Like it was early, again, ahead of its time. So like technology wasn't fully there yet. So like that didn't catch on at that time.
Right.
But whole sideway conversation.
Oh no, it was great. No, so hey, Mr. Braggers podcast episode. I'm not gonna speak on it because I forgot again. But hey, I got your boy Russ in the building. You know what I'm saying? We back in the building with the villains. Your other boy in the building, my co-host, the man with the plan. Oh yeah, we live on Twitch. You feel me? Sheesh. Okay. For real, Shogun in the building, man. So with the man with the plan. Hey man, Russ, you out here on your nerdum? Man, give us a little information about you real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to know Russ, like overall, what you want the world to know who Russ is. It's Russ Reinhardt, right?
Russ Reinhardt. You can just call me Russ, Russell, whatever. I ain't really picky. Well, I mentioned my podcast first off, so I'll plug that one first because normally I'm plugging all the music stuff first. No, today my geekdom. So
you can't Dragon Ball Z shirt. You got it. You got it. Say something.
And the socks I'll be wearing.
Did you see Bomba Butt?
I got Wonder Woman on right now.
Oh yeah, I see that. Bomba Butt, the booty thing. Don't worry about it. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. She got some booty enhancements on Dragon Ball. Don't worry.
Oh, Bulma's butt.
Yeah.
She got the, apparently, what do they call
She
it?
wished
The
for it,
Brazilian
yeah.
butt lift, the BB.
The BB. She wild.
Yeah, no, and I've seen, like, the story. We can get into that in a minute. The Comic Cave podcast. So my podcast is about comics and geek stuff in general. Anything from American stuff. Like we do fun episodes talking about like top indie comics that like we're reading right now. I read a lot of.
Oh, like independent comics?
Yeah, so like
Okay.
boom, or not even just independent, but like some of like the listen. Everybody talks about Marvel, DC. You might hear a little bit about Image today, but like there's a bunch of other publishing companies that are really good.
They like Boom comics and shit like
Boom.
that.
So like the Boom has one of my favorite comics.
Is
right
Black
now.
Horse that make comics?
Dark Horse.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dark Horse. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it Black Horse.
Yeah, bro.
Black.
But yeah, no, Dark Horse is still a thing, and arguably that's like one of the top ones too. But there's a bunch. IDW, which is more like Cartoon Network stuff, and then now my mind's gonna want to like go blank on me. But bottom line, yeah. So we talk about some of that stuff, but then we also interview like artists that are influenced by comics and stuff, and talk about how the comics have influenced their art. And then we do interviews with comic book shop owners. We've done a few like. If you guys are local to Houston, you know Bedrock City Comics.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
So we got to talk to the owner of Bedrocks and like how he got started, along with some of the smaller stuff, Space Cadets. Shout out to them.
Okay.
And then recently, Comic Palooza has been asking us to do interviews for them. So we did.
Oh, okay. That's like.
So anime stuff. They had I shot this one out too because I don't know. This is live, so I guess people can check it out. In 2 weeks, now my mom's gonna go not this coming Tuesday, I think the following Tuesday, I can't remember my dates right now, but at, what's the name of, it's a movie theater where you can get drinks in Alamo Drafthouse. So they're doing showings of like anime movies right now, and like certain ones, so we just did this one called Love, Chiribio and Other Delusions, Chinibio and Other Delusions. I'm butchering that right now, but they had us interview the voice cast and like the head of marketing, and then like right before the film, and then they played the film. And there's like a few geeks out there. We're doing a racing one called Initial D and the voice cast.
Oh, Initial D? You talking to Initial D, the voice cast?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I need to go.
So it's
plug in.
all right. Look, let me pull it up now so I can definitely let you know.
Oh, yeah, I gotta go.
Comic Palooza linked up with like Sentai Films, and they're doing like these little screenings and stuff. Initial D is the next one. So yeah, no, it's been super cool. They've been asking us. I guess they like our energy or whatever.
Initial D is hella lit.
I know.
It's on June 21st at the Alamo Drafthouse. What time? 5 p.m.
Hey, I'll pay however much.
Yeah. I'll send you a ticket link. It is ticketed, but I don't remember how much.
Yeah, I'll pay that shit.
No, I'm excited for that one. So like, I wasn't familiar with that last. I am familiar with Initial D, but I wasn't familiar with the Love Chinibio, so I had to like watch the film and like do research on the voice cast and stuff. And it was a lot of fun though. It was cool.
Yeah.
But then, okay, so the other stuff, my day job, that's the hobby. Day job, production, audio, music, concerts, booking, and like talent buying, or I don't like the word promoter. It's got like a stigma to it, but promoter, talent buyer, whatever you really want to call it, the event coordinator. So I opened up my own spot off of 1960. We do projection mapping. So it's I opened the production company behind the spot. The spot itself is owned by a company called Free Gallant. They're a label. And then my company, Hive Productions, we do the production and event coordinating and booking out of the space. So we come together to like create the venue.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we got some concerts and stuff coming up. We have a fashion show coming up in October and some local stuff. I'm working on getting some tours booked in with that. And then Flight, which I know you're familiar with. So that's the company that I set up to do shows like in other cities. And it's supposed to be set up around touring, but kind of took a step back from that during COVID. And then now I'm working on getting the tours and stuff set back up. And John Fugindo, a local artist, I'm helping him with his little tour. I say little tour. He's hitting New Orleans. I don't want to pre-speak, bro. I don't know if I should say all of the spots. New Orleans, Houston, I'll say for sure. So he's hitting like 4 different cities and moving around. So I'm helping him with that.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. For sure.
So that's everything. There you go. That's
Hell yeah. Shit.
Hey, man, for sure. No, we gotta work for sure. I need tickets and everything or dates so I can be there for sure.
I mean, I already told you I put you on the media list and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's something I like doing like podcasts. If you guys are gonna talk about the show, like absolutely, just let me know.
Sure.
You can come out and cover it. Like I want people talking about it, right? That's all
We just did the spring collection for Jeremy, his Instagram name like Polo Dunn. It was a pretty good event.
Yeah.
And it was a bunch of different local artists. And I know you was doing the Evoversity thing at one time.
Yeah,
and,
I mean that's what got me started.
Yeah, and I'm just steady seeing the growth in you, and you're just steady doing different shows. Yeah,
Evoversity.
It's like another company in the beginning.
It was a event coordinating company. Same thing. Well, I mean the other two that I'm doing is a little bit more like niche stuff. Evoversity, we did like everything. Like the first fashion show I ever put together was like through that, and we did comedy shows.
Yeah.
And like
he's bringing on a lot of local artists, and he's
pretty
well.
I don't say all that. Like it's just if you do hip hop, R&B, like I'm pretty well within those scenes within Houston, and a little bit within like the indie rock, and I've gotten a little bit into the funk and a little bit in like a couple other scenes. The only scenes I'm not really familiar with are honestly country, which I've been trying to be. It's fucking Texas. I should be.
Yeah.
And like some of the, I know a couple metal bands, but like I'm not like really big into those scenes.
Yeah, I can't take by. I only take by one country artist, and she wouldn't tell shoot us. Shows like every once in a while.
Yeah, you're talking about Tavia.
Yeah.
No, that she's like one of the only ones I know too. Tavia, and then like most of the metal bands I know were from like working with the House of Blues. Like a lot of the people working there were in some type of like metal band, so those are like the ones that I know on that side.
Okay.
But Evoversity, yeah, no, that was my start with my partner Summer. I got to shout her out because she like if it weren't for her, like I wouldn't be where I'm at now and stuff. But she was an artist, and like we got together, made some music and stuff, and then she did some local shows.
Hey, shout out to Summer, man.
Yeah. We didn't like the local shows that she was on. I don't want to like say names because some of them are like still doing shows today. It's no bad blood, but like we could do it better, and that's what we started figuring out how to do. So
for sure.
Yeah.
And now we went a long way. We went to Austin and did our thing out there.
Yeah.
That was pretty fun.
The Austin trip, that was a lot of fun. That was over during South by.
Yeah.
I still got that photo, pops up in my memory with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hey, it was famous.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Hey, yeah, you getting there, man. Keep working. The shit I've been seeing, hey, blowing up for sure.
That's just staying consistent. Like roadblocks happen, just keep going.
Yeah. Exactly. Shit happening, like you gotta just get around and just push on.
Some sucky stuff is happening. So.
Oh yeah, right.
But yeah, just keep going.
For sure.
So what about you guys? So what all do you talk about on this podcast? I'm gonna be 100% real with you. I think I might have checked out one of your early episodes when the first one you was doing it.
Man, I'm
I ain't a real friend.
This show is still in the. I gotta say, this show is still in the making. It's still kind of. It's still kind of
developing where you want to go with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to build out proper segments, but it's pretty much. Hey, it's the Breakers podcast, and I'm here with my co-hosts and my friends and family. And I'm interviewing business owners, people that do music, artists. If you're doing anything extraordinary in Houston, you come here and talk about it, because I talk about everybody about it.
Y'all definitely need to come out to like my shows or anything that I got, because like I would love for y'all to talk to them and stuff. Like that's what I want.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, but this show can get pretty random sometimes too.
Yeah, we'll talk about damn near everything on here.
Oh yeah,
about that though, you can't just only talk about like the boring stuff, especially if you have like guests and stuff.
Yeah,
you
for
want
sure.
People to know them, right? Not just the, I don't know, like.
Yeah, that's what we try to focus on. When we have guests, we try to like kind of focus on like everything they do about their life and stuff like that. But most of the time, it can go left. It can go left.
Yeah, it should go left. Like, cause I don't know, you're talking about like answering the same questions you are on with like other podcasts and stuff, and like it can get boring.
Yeah, but I'm trying to show another side of you, man. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I enjoyed us talking about Sega at the beginning of this. Like, I can all day. I can talk about games, comics, and.
Did you get a PS5 yet?
I have not. No, I got a Switch.
Are you getting a Steam Deck?
Yeah.
You gotta get me out. Gotta play with me.
Are you getting a Steam Deck when it comes out? Are you?
Nah. So okay, I don't play games like a whole lot. I used to.
Yeah, but it's different.
Heavy and now I'm a little bit older. And just other stuff going on, and I like it's enough for me to try to keep up with like my reading, my comics and stuff. And I try to keep up with, but I keep up with those. But I have been. I ain't gonna lie. So like I don't play games a whole lot, but like Breath of the Wild, I've been playing the hell out of that. Like I've completed. I don't have any of the expansions, the DLCs, but
for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, but I did. Out of the main quest, I've beaten all of the shrines. I'm almost done with all the side missions, and I've done I think like more than half like the Croak Seeds.
Oh yeah, you did all that.
Stupid amount. Yeah, I put a little bit too much.
You might as well get the two DLCs, because the other DLC just the second half of the story, and then the other DLC just the the master and to get the sword and shit.
I don't think it's really essential.
It's not that essential.
I mean, it's just more to do though. Like,
yeah.
The only 2 games I have on the Switch are that and Mario Kart. And so, like, I don't know. You get Mario Kart after a little while, you get tired.
More.
No, you might as well get the DLC then.
You gotta get Pokemon.
I got like 40
I need to get, like, honestly, I need to get Super Smash Bros.
Hey, you don't got Super Smash Bros.
But I don't play games that often anymore. Like,
but like,
and when I do, like, I still have my Genesis. I still play that.
I got you do collect the retro games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I collect, but like, I have the shit that I like. So,
yeah, and they playable.
Yeah, so I still play like my Dreamcast and my Genesis, and I'm still a Sega boy. Like, I don't know, I have a Super Nintendo, but like a friend's borrowing that. I haven't gotten that back in a while. One of my other friends has the Nintendo. What else? I have an N64 and a PS2 and a PS3. But honestly, I probably play the Genesis more than anything else right now.
What games you playing there? Sonic?
Sonic, I got Sonic 2, I got Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I actually just recently figured out a hack on Sonic 2, where you can make Sonic green, and it's like this hidden character called Ashura, I think, something like that. I'd stumbled across it on fucking Instagram, and they're like, you can make Sonic green in the original Sega Genesis Sonic 2 game. I was like, what? So I tried, like, I looked up how to do it, and I fucking did it, and I was really proud of myself. Like, because you gotta type in its codes.
It's like a cheat code.
Kind of like, so like apparently you can actually do a level select in the original Sonic games, and I didn't know that. Like, I thought you had to play it like all the way through. No, you can actually select and jump into
Holy
the
shit.
thing. Yeah, I didn't know that shit either.
Crazy.
So you just hold down start and press A instead of, hold down A and then press start instead of just pressing start and going right into the game, and then it opens up a whole new menu screen. And like all the levels and shit, and like you can test audio and like different.
That's why
songs.
old games are.
Yeah, bro, it's like you gotta like do some stuff, but nah.
It took 20 years for us to figure it out.
What? Yeah. So yeah, no, I still plug that stuff in.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Nah, Sega's cool. I mean, it sucks Sonic just kind of disappeared for so long, you know?
I mean, he's getting popular again.
I mean, I played the last game on Switch. It kind of counts.
The last Sonic game?
Yeah, the Sonic Forces.
That game is trash. I did play that one recently.
Yeah, but
that game was so trash.
I thought it was gonna be like.
I beat it in like 2 days.
I beat it in a day.
Yeah, it's a short game.
Very, very.
And like, were you getting like A ranks and like all the way through?
I just played it through. Like, I just one shot it in through.
Yeah, no, I
wasn't even caring about the rank.
Nah, bro, I got A's or S's on literally every single mission. Like, I might have had, if I got a B on, I think I got a B on like 1 or 2. And I went back and just got them to A's or S's because everything else was an A or an S. I was like, fucking,
fucking easy.
Do that one too. It was just stupid easy. Yeah, it was just like, I don't know.
Jack and Daxter 2.
It's made for. That shit's coming out?
No, I mean, we already know. We're not getting another Jack and Daxter probably ever.
Yeah, Naughty Dog, they shit over. They ain't making.
But they got like the other dude from that era coming back. What's his name? The Fox.
Uncharted Drake. Oh, never mind.
Uncharted.
No, come think about Naughty Dog.
You're talking about
Bandicoot or whatever.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot.
No, aren't they making another Sly, or not another? Aren't they remastering Sly Cooper also though?
Sly Cooper? I don't know. I missed the whole state of play, so I only call like the popular shit they posted. Yeah. Hey, bring it over here.
Stand up and appreciate it.
No, the state of play was actually lit. I don't know if y'all saw it, but
I didn't watch the whole
thing. Oh
thing.
my god,
I didn't watch.
Hella lit shit.
Tell me about it. What's going on in the state of play?
I mean, first of all, I'm gonna just get the elephant out the room. Final Fantasy 16 looks fucking amazing. That game looks like Devil May Cry.
And you just got done playing 14, right?
I played 14 already online.
I heard people was getting a little tired of those games.
Well, yeah, because this one is so much better because, first of all, it's action. It ain't no turn-based, no nothing. It ain't,
Oh, it's just straight through like God of War.
Again, it's like Devil May Cry.
Okay, man.
But with a few numbers, and it has a lot of... It just has a lot of different shit in it. You could tell Square Enix is actually kind of experimenting. And the guy that they got to do this game was the one that did 14. The one that saved it.
Oh, okay.
So... I mean, it's looking good. And then there was some other games that State of Play too. They showed a lot of good indie games, and they showed the Sonic game, the new one that's coming out.
I know. Or Sonic. It's the RPG.
Yeah,
Sonic
the open world one.
Yeah, no, I saw a little gameplay of that one. The walk around gameplay and a little action gameplay.
I'm interested in seeing what it is.
I am
because it looks really good, and I think. If they put the work into it, it can. Because I heard a lot of people criticizing it because it's not, a lot of people like that OG Sonic.
Yeah, they're going through loops and shit.
I like the idea of an open world though. Like, it's just I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I am a little concerned at the same time because like combat and Sonic haven't really like gone very well together in the past in other games that they've tried to do.
Yeah.
And like from what you see though, it still looks pretty. I don't know, fleshed out.
Yeah.
Like,
I think the environment is going to be a big part of it.
Yeah.
And how you move through the environment,
Right,
I think it's going to be a big part of it. If it feels fluid and it feels like I think people will enjoy it. If it's kind of clunky, how some of the old Sonics may have felt. Then.
So like I can see that because like in the action playthrough that they did, like when he had to like run around the enemy and like it shot them up in the air or whatever, like just that movement seemed a little bit odd.
Like how are you gonna pull that off?
Yeah,
really well?
You know it was a little clunky. I get what you mean. So like
it'll depend.
Yeah.
Because it might just be a button you press and he just does it,
that
or
would
it
be
might
better.
be.
That would be better.
Because it would be way easier than actually having to run around him.
It looks like you have to run around him though.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of looked like.
Yeah, it looks fucking. That's terrible.
And then like some of the, I don't know. I will say that like some of the. Like some of the terrain looks like that like perfectly like fits into the terrain and like how a Sonic thing, but then like they have some rails and like platforms just kind of randomly, which I mean I guess Sonic does in general, even on like their old side scrollers.
Yeah,
like, there are platforms and stuff. So maybe because it's just.
But now it's like it's because it's 3D now. So now
it
like
looks off. Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's
it won't look consistent, but it looks
because when it's 2D, you're only seeing it from
the one
you know what I'm saying. So it's like okay, whatever.
But you know what's gonna play like then? A skateboarding game. If you think about it.
I hope not.
I mean,
that would be interesting though. That would be interesting.
You know what I'm saying? But it makes sense because you can stop and go at your own leisure.
Yeah.
You know, you
actually,
play
I
2D.
I can't actually.
It's like a rail.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But it's just weird. The rails, like some of them are just floating, like, and it just looks weird. Like if you're trying to make it look like a real world, that kind of defeats the purpose of it. Yeah. But at the same time, like OG Sonic games are known for just like some platforms. It's a platforming.
I guess if you have to put that platform there to make me traversing through the terrain and me traversing through the area smoother, then sure. Fuck it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it enhances the experience of me getting through that area, sure. If it just looks funky and I'm not gonna get there anyways because I'm gonna have to do some crazy shit.
Right.
And what the won't, then nah.
Yeah, it's like say gameplay is gonna be a lot more important.
Yeah,
sure.
honestly.
But I'm interested in playing that. I don't even, like I said, I don't play games too much. But I do want to play that.
You gotta get the new Pokemon. It's gonna be co-op.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get into Pokemon again. That's like a commitment now.
Not really. You can do it.
I say that as I peep most of Breath of the Wild, but
yeah, I'm saying like, come on, you can do it. Don't lie to me now. But you know, Sega's come out with a mini console. They come out with a new one. It's gonna play cartridges and CDs. It's gonna be have 50 games built in.
I heard about that. That's getting a lot of traction.
2023, I think they said it's gonna drop.
Now I do want to see what's gonna. I know what all is gonna play, but I'm just interested in the execution of it. Like, I want to see how it plays these other games and if it even plays them well
it's like an emulator, or are you still like?
That's what I'm curious about. I don't know if it's playing new games or if it's playing.
The article saying it's gonna play both CDs and cartridges, and it's gonna have 50 games built in. So I don't know.
So is it playing older games though?
It's all the old games that it originally came with.
Okay. Well,
so I guess it's gonna come with them base games. And
well, if you have those consoles though, then
I mean, if it's good, you got the goddamn cartridges still. You know what I'm saying?
If you have the cartridges without the console, but I mean, I feel like if you have the console, then you're not gonna break that out versus just putting it in your actual Nintendo 64 or.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
It's gonna be like how they did the mini. Cause it's a mini console, not a full fledged. It's gonna be another mini, so it's gonna be plugged in.
I mean, it's definitely You know what I do like is that the retro gaming scene is getting more love now. You know what I'm saying? In this new era, where it's like it's being respected more and a lot of more remasters of old shit and stuff like that because. You have to admit that older games they're just better. You know what I'm saying? All the older generation games were just of a higher quality. You know, without the microtransactions, without a lot of the fucking bullshit going on.
Completed games released.
Yeah, like no patches,
right.
No DLC. Final Fantasy VII released as a complete fucking game. It is still probably my favorite Final Fantasy.
Right.
And there was a complete fucking game on fucking release. There was no DLC. There was no part 1, part 2, part 3.
I refuse to pay for a DLC.
That's so fucking insane, dude. Like, I feel like nowadays you can't even buy a base game without the DLC because you're literally missing half the fucking game.
Yeah, but that's all games now.
Me either.
Base games ain't shit.
Even fighting games
like that.
No. Breath of the Wild.
It's actually like getting a whole nother game.
The Breath of the Wild DLC?
Yeah.
I wouldn't really say that. I would say Breath of the Wild.
I said half a game because it's a whole nother adventure shit you gotta go do.
I would say the Breath of the Wild DLC because one of them is the Master Sword and then the other one you're talking about where you gotta do the trials.
Yeah, you do the new trials with they bring the guards back, not the guards, but the fucking, you know what I'm talking about, the people in the game.
I don't know if I played that one.
How much are these DLC?
They're not a lot.
They on discount now. They've been out so long.
You say that, but Nintendo games don't go up these days.
No, yeah, they don't.
The good games don't go down. Like Breath of the Wild, shit ain't never going down.
Neither Smash Bros or Mario Kart.
Yeah,
like, I'm just like,
they not going down.
You have to get them during Christmas.
Yeah, that's the one time they gonna drop.
But you right though. The old games were like a lot more, as you said, completed. I'm gonna go back to that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say just better as a whole, because obviously
they're
great games now. But
honestly, they were a lot harder too. Like, not to harping on Sonic, but like old Sonic games used to be pretty fucking difficult, and then now you have Forces, and that shit's some booty.
Yeah,
like, it's just like
all the genres are like that. The same thing with JRPGs also. To speak on that, because I'm really big into those. You know, a lot of the old Final Fantasies, Suikoden, Wild Arms, Star Ocean, all of those games, they were way harder back then. A lot of these games are fucking super easy now with a bunch of difficulty options.
Right.
You can fucking story mode it and just fucking press an X throughout the whole fucking game. And you know, I'm mixed on the difficulty options thing. I think a game should come. I think when you create a game, you create it with a vision, and I think adding difficulty options to it kind of, to me, conflicts with the vision of whatever it was you were going for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like when you make a game, you want it to play a certain way, and if you add a difficulty option, it's kind of just, you know what I'm saying? That's just me personally.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. Though my only exception to that is like there are some games where like you can pick like a camp or a team, and like depending on which camp or team you're playing as, that is kind of the difficulty.
Yeah, and that's
so like those are
because I think
they have different playing types.
I think Resident Evil 4 was kind of like that, where it was like every mode was different, but one was harder than the other.
Right,
and I think the one where with the army guys was the easiest one because you got the assault rifles and all that shit, and then the other modes you were getting pistols and it was like less and less guns, and it would make it harder. You know what I'm saying? I would agree. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, Sega had a good run, man. I really wish Sega would have stayed in there, but
they held a cult following for a really long time. Like in Japan, like they would mod their consoles, and like I think it was up until I want to say mid to late 2000s, they were still playing online.
Sega is the one that made Phantasy Star, right?
Yeah.
Aren't they the public? Man, I am so fucking pissed at y'all right now, dude. Y'all, we didn't. First of all, Fantasy. They did have a cult. The cult following with so Phantasy Star has an immense following, and all of us over here in the West would go and download Japanese clients in the East with VP fucking ends to play Phantasy Star Online 2 for fucking 10 years. This game's been out like 12 years. Right. And then they finally dropped it over here in the West like 10, 12 years later, and then dropped this new Genesis shit like with 10% of the game.
That's not even the whole
like you know what I'm saying? Didn't even give us the whole game. Like, Sega, y'all gotta do better, bro. Like,
that's part of the reason why they've taken a step back. It's unfortunate, but like they have seemed to have made like
it's better quality. All their new shit is way better quality.
They are ahead of their time on like their concepts, but they just don't fully follow through in like the right way.
Maybe they need more money.
They just like to. I don't know, man. It almost seems like they like to shoot themselves in the foot. Like they just can't. Like they get a win and like they can't just hold on to the win.
Yeah,
they gotta like do something to like mess it up. That's how I feel about Disney right now too. But
I think, man, Disney.
What are you talking? The Kingdom Hearts shit?
Everything with Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, like you don't even get me started.
I mean, if you look at Marvel right now, I feel like the MCU is headed towards its worst. I mean, look, first of all, I don't think it's ever going to be as big as it was in the first half.
No, you're never going to get that.
Just all that charismatic people you had in that cast.
They lost a lot of them though, so
you know what I'm saying.
You bring other people in, and like it's cool.
I just don't like. First of all, I don't like Scarlet Witch as much as I liked most of that old cast. I mean, I'm not against her. I'm not a hater of her. I just don't really like her.
But I think that's their goal. I think they new goal is they gave you some of the top characters. Like, you gonna fall in love with them, of course, because all the history behind them. But now they give you all the B grade characters, C grade characters that we didn't really know about.
Because I feel like Doctor Strange.
Fall in love with them and shit.
Because I feel like Doctor Strange isn't that. I feel like Doctor Strange is a really good charismatic guy. I like Doctor Strange.
No, Doctor Strange is a good character, but you gotta think about how many people was really into Doctor Strange before he hit the film.
His first movie was
almost everything from Marvel was like that though. Like originally, the three biggest thing that everybody knew from Marvel, like the general public, if you weren't reading comics specifically, you knew about Spider-Man, the X-Men, and maybe the Avengers.
Yeah.
You didn't know jack about, but like the members of the Avengers, people didn't really know that. They might have known Hulk.
They got
Captain
to break
America,
down.
maybe like most people didn't really know like what was like current teams and like what was going on with all that.
They didn't
Because
really
the teams
Civil
changed,
War.
right? Yeah, no. So it's just like those were the main like franchises within Marvel. So like everything else that Marvel has done is making unpopular characters popular. Like, or you can argue originally Iron Man wasn't popular until they did Iron Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Guardians of the Galaxy, like they started off strong. My issue with them is like just what a lot of people are now catching on to and saying is like the Marvel formula. Like they have a certain way of doing all of their films. I hate Thor. Like personally, I'm like one of the few that like even Thor Ragnarok. I hate it. It's so stupid.
So you gonna hate the new Thor they trying to drive?
I'm not interested. I'm genuinely not interested in it. I'll end up watching it just because like I'm a fan in general.
Yeah.
And like I want to.
So what's the form? What's the little hate thing you got with it?
It's a lot of not even just predictability. It's just almost every scene has to be followed up with some type of joke.
Comedy.
You know?
I say
It's so annoying.
It's that really cringe, you know, it's a moment and then it's some really cringe ass comedy shit. And sometimes it hits every once in a while, but most of the part it's missing.
It's just
See, I feel like they don't have to do it.
It's not even just that. They have some of their
It
character
ruins immersion.
Yeah, and some of their character archetypes as a whole are like the same characters. Like Paul Rudd's character is Ant-Man, and Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. To me, if you remove those two characters and like just look at like the definition of like what makes that character,
They are who they are.
They're the same people.
because they joking so much.
Yeah, they're the
Okay.
same type of comedic like character, the same type of jokes. Like they're not. There's nothing difference between those two characters, which is also, in my theory, why you don't see them ever interact with each other, especially in like the Avengers movie or something.
It'll break the timeline.
Like not just that, it's just it's neither one of them offers something to the screen or to the time that the other one doesn't already. Right. So it's just I don't know. Like Thor Ragnarok specifically, like I do think it was an improvement over the original Thors. Like I think that the idea of having like a more serious film wasn't needed and like it was a good idea at the time, but like then they found out like everybody really likes this comedy stuff and they just overcorrected.
Yeah, but I ain't like that. Like
Like
about
there's
that's when he got
what I'm
fat, right? And shit.
No. That was
He got fat after.
Endgame.
Yeah.
Okay, when it was like hella stupid, I'm like, oh, we got a timeline of seeing Thor fat and shit.
Thor Ragnarok was that's with Endgame.
Yeah.
But Thor Ragnarok was like it was nothing but comedy. Like the whole thing, like they overcorrected. I feel like there is a medium like between the two. Like they could keep it more serious and they just have like a little bit more comedy in there. Like there's a balance between the two that they've done, but they just completely overcorrected. But then now I don't know, a lot of people seem to like the comedy and stuff, so that's probably what they're gonna keep
because the
doing.
books are not like even like that.
Oh no.
The books like
He's
serious
very
Thor.
serious.
That
Yeah.
kind of sucks though because I imagine like now that because I'm pretty sure they own X-Men now. Pretty sure they just bought them. So I
They
just
own
imagine if they actually executed X-Men the right way, how amazing it could be. But with all that comedy shit, it's just like I feel like certain characters are just and it's not like I inherently disagree with having some amount of comedy in your movie, but it's just
Right.
Disney always overdoes it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
you gotta
fucking time.
have comedy related to like the situation in the right way though, because some of them be just be off the wall.
Well, it has to be the right moment too. Like sometimes it's just is that really the time for that comedy to happen right then and there,
Not
or
even
was
just-
it could have been another scene, you know?
And honestly, not even just the comedy. Like that is a big part of it, but like the formula of like I'm all for having lessons and like meanings behind like stories and stuff. Like when you were a kid, you're watching cartoons. Like almost every end of cartoon had some type of like moral of the story.
Especially Captain Planet. Every time. Right.
But even Batman, even like Spider-Man and stuff, like there was normally like something going
Spider-Man
on
is
deeper
sure.
within those. The Amazing Spider-Man. But anyways, so yeah, no, just like I don't know, like it seems like especially even the Marvel, like the Disney Plus shows, like they're just over the top, shoving some type of message down your throat. And like me personally, that's not why I'm not in disagreement with what the message is. I'm just like that's not what I'm trying to tune in
what you're
for.
watching.
Yeah, that's not what I'm like coming in. Like I want to come in and watch this like for pure enjoyment, to like chill, like not
Like
necessarily.
if you go
be,
watch
like,
Cowboy Bebop, you're not watching Cowboy Bebop because you want to learn the lesson. You watch
Right.
Cowboy Bebop because you want to.
or get some type of like
I-
political statement or
No, I
something.
think I'm
It's
like
just-
the Scarlet Witch series when she dropped her series. Was it too much comedy for you, or was it just the right amount?
Scarlet Witch was alright. The WandaVision.
Yeah, the WandaVision. That's what I'm talking about.
WandaVision was alright. Honestly, out of the Disney Plus shows, the only one that I really like so far is Loki.
I didn't finish that.
And Loki still had some stuff that like kind of bugged me too, but that one, I don't know. It was the one that had like the most. I don't know, it just had me engaged a little bit more.
Yeah, I can't get past episode 1.
Hawkeye, boring. I like kind of what they did with Kingpin at the end, but then also
Kingpin on Hawkeye?
Oh, is that spoiler for you? Should I not?
I ain't watching it. No, it's good. No, spoil it. Spoil it. I don't care.
So,
shit.
Personally, I like how they made Kingpin, like he wore some of like the lighter clothes, and in the comics like he wears like.
Was it the same dude from?
Yeah, same guy.
Okay, great. That's all I want to know.
But like they did kind of almost. It was weird. Like they almost dumbed his character down a little bit, which I mean I guess is to be expected with Disney. Like they want a more PG-13 thing, but like. It wasn't the same, like it's the same actor and stuff, but it was not the same Kingpin from Daredevil. Like he was not as, like he was a jerk, I guess, but he wasn't like the same level of like bossness and ferocity, right? Yeah, like but I did like that. So he is which they kind of showed in Daredevil as well, but like he's a sumo wrestler. So Kingpin is like that's like his martial arts of choice or whatever. Like so the thing about his character within the comics and stuff. Is he's not fat, like that's all muscle, like he's just ridiculously actually like just jacked, and his size comes from like being a sumo wrestler and shit. So I like that like at the end he did like some sumo moves and stuff, like they kind of referenced some of that within the fight. That was cool, and I liked like some of the clothes, but like his acting was not. It wasn't as good as in Daredevil. So
no, Daredevil was more passionate. I think the 3 shows they had on Netflix before they did the switch and shit, they was way more passionate. Then, like some of the shows they were making now, like Daredevil,
some of their shows suck too, though.
No, which kind of show stuck? Iron Fist.
Iron Fist was terrible.
His shit was trash.
It was bad acting. It was like there were scenes within it that I kept thinking like, oh, it's him acting as if he's acting in the show. Like he's just trying to fool this guy, but like no, that was him acting. I was just like, what? The fuck? It can't be that stupid. Is it really that stupid? It's that stupid.
No, dear God, I ain't like that one.
Yeah, nah. And honestly, the second season of Jessica Jones, I wasn't a fan of. That shit didn't get good until the very last episode. I remember that shit. I was watching all of Jessica Jones. I was like, man, the second season. The first season's great.
Yeah,
the second season,
right.
I was watching the second season. I was like, man, this is boring though. And then the last episode, I was like, damn, this shit's getting good. How much more we got? Last episode, fuck. Like, shit just now getting good.
Yeah, they be wishy-washy with the TV shows.
Did y'all watch Batman, the movie?
Oh yeah.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah. Like not to.
I loved it.
Yeah. Like
I'm conflicted.
I don't like jumping on like the bandwagon and stuff, but no, it's a legitimately good movie.
No, I liked it. I tried to when I went to watch it. I tried to because I knew there were going to be a lot of people talking about it and have a lot of opinions. And Batman has been rebooted so much that I know there's a lot that comes with it. And you got to realize the actor for this movie, the lead, was from Twilight.
Yeah.
So like I was trying to go into it like, okay.
You seen any of his other films though?
No, I haven't, but I heard he's really fucking good.
No, he's actually good. Yeah,
like, I heard
like most people know him Twilight and Cedric Diggory.
But I heard he's legit in his other movies though.
So there's a movie on Netflix you should watch, All Devil All the Time, and it's got him and Tom Holland in it.
Tom Holland's good.
Oh, phenomenal! Like that movie is really good. He plays like a Southern pastor, and like he just completely no. Pattinson, Robert Pattinson. He plays like a Southern.
He played the hell out of Batman too, though.
Yeah, like he there were some things within that film that I didn't like, but like for the most part, like I feel like I hate the people. Like,
what were your disagreements first?
Yeah, no. So there's two sides to this. So like. Not to like get more. I normally have two different opinions when I watch a film. So my background, as Brenton knows, I graduated for radio, television, film. So like I did study film work and stuff.
Yeah.
So when I come out of a comic movie specifically, I was into comics when I was a kid. So like I'll have my, is this comic accurate? Is this like is this as a movie? And then like I have my opinion of, is this a good film? It's just like a film, production wise and all that. You can kill that, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I tend to get like mixed feelings on shows or like two separate opinions. The Batman, so the reason why I bring that specific up is because the movie itself would not have worked had they done it another way. But personally, like that Riddler, that's not the Riddler. Like,
for sure.
Like this is an entirely different character. But for this film, if they hadn't made him like a psycho killer. If they hadn't made him a serial killer and done him the way that they did, the film wouldn't work.
Right.
So like they had to make him that way. But then the comic side of me is like, why didn't you just call him somebody else? But the reason why is because nobody would recognize someone else.
You have to use a name.
That So like I get why they did it, but like that's not the Riddler. So like that's kind of a great, but like also
I didn't like how the Riddler ended up. How he folded and how they made him look.
Did you like the social media aspect of it? It kind of threw me off.
What do you mean?
Oh, like how he was on like social media, just like
that
he was like on Twitch and shit.
Yeah, that makes
I don't know. It threw me off a little bit. I was like, oh.
That makes like because he was on the dark web when he was doing that. So it's other dark web nerds that were tuning in. But no, I like that because like that explains where lackeys and goons come from. So like if you're ever reading a comic, like when you're a kid, right, like. Where do you get these followers? Like, are you paying them enough? Like, would you go work for a villain? Like, it ain't even like you can go up in there and be like, I'm like the Penguin. At least he can say that he's a businessman, like he's hiring you for the casino or something. Yeah. No, the Riddler's just out here hiring, and you're just gonna like take a job with him. So like, I like that aspect. It explains like where those goons would come from.
And plus, you gotta look at. I mean, it's a slight social comment on how social media.
Oh, for sure.
Shit like that. And how people will just blindly follow somebody on Twitch or on one of these platforms and just
or take other people's opinions without doing their own research.
Right, or caring or having their own opinion.
Right.
You know, so. But yeah, the movie as a whole, I really liked it. I thought Robert Pattinson played a pretty good Batman. He was shaking some.
He was fantastic.
There were some scenes I feel like maybe could have been directed better. I don't even know if it was him that was fucking up more than it was like
the direction
of the film itself. And the director was great. First of all, it was a good movie, but I do think that it could have been better. You know what I'm saying? Catwoman.
I like that the story. I like the background of the Catwoman because it kind of explains that
straight out of the Long Halloween.
She came from the.
I'm biased towards her because I feel like before I went into the movie, the only thing I did see about the movie before I went into it was that she likes to drink fucking milk out of an actual like actual cat milk out of like some weird shit that she said. And, you know, it just threw me off. So when I went into the movie, I'm just like, I'm thinking it in my head. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Every time I see her on screen, I'm just thinking, like, this bitch really, like...
I mean, at least she didn't do the Halle Berry. You know, Halle Berry, she went to the club and, like, y'all want that Russian cream. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember that shit? They just gave her the cream?
No, but she was really good in the movie, too. And the only thing is, I just felt like it was really interesting to see a young Batman. A young Batman that's not...
Yeah, this probably been like Detective Batman.
Yeah, this was like
it's like year 2 Batman. But so that's actually some of the complaints that like some of my other friends have. They're like super into comics. They're like, I just want to see an established Batman already. Yeah, they tried that with Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
that didn't quite work out the way. So like now they're doing like some middle ground. Like he's established, but he's not super established. He's still learning.
Right.
And personally, I like that. And there's like a lot of scenes within it that like I had friends that complained about that I feel they did on purpose. So like. Him fucking up, so like
when he was fighting those guys in the beginning,
multiple times, like so personally, like when you think Batman, in my opinion, let me just give you like my definition. Like I do love that they focus more on like the detective skills. We haven't really gotten a Batman that focused as much. It is arguable that a lot of other people solved more for him in this than Batman did himself, such as like Alfred helping him with like the riddle and shit. But like he still did a lot more than we've seen, right? So that's cool. But like he's stealthy, right? So like one of the reasons why personally I love Ben Affleck as Batman is because like one of the first scenes of him when everybody's scared and like they close the thing, he's up in the rafters and he like runs out like fucking Batman, like, let's go. Yeah, like the way he crawled out and like he's in the shadows and shit.
Very stealthy.
So super stealthy and like he's a ninja and billionaire playboy and like Bruce Wayne is like the other persona, right? So that's like Batman, right? Bruce Wayne Batman. In this, like, okay, so the number one thing that a lot of people that I've heard complain on is like his Bruce Wayne persona sucks. But that's because in this, I think it's room for character development. Like he hasn't developed the Bruce Wayne persona.
Yeah, he hasn't become that.
He hasn't. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. All he gives a fuck about right now is Batman. He hasn't figured out I need to create Bruce Wayne as well to be able to manage and keep this shit afloat. Like how else are you gonna be able to fund your shit? How else are you gonna keep that personal image, that public image, right? So like he just hasn't developed that yet. So like that was a complaint I heard about. Then I'm like, nah, it's on purpose. But then I do want to see him have more like stealth and not just like a lot of this film was like him walking down a hallway and just taking shots and like beating the crap out of people.
And,
right?
and it showed him the skills too, like when he was gliding down, how he fucked up and he hurt himself and stuff
Again,
like that.
and all of that though is like I think it's fuck ups on purpose.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
to show us that he still has room to grow.
He's still learning.
And by the time that they're done with whatever series, because they're going to do more
He'll
films.
actually be on his shit.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure he's gonna put on some weight for these future films.
That was my other issue. Yeah.
Because he was pretty small and it looked like. And
he still like he was Vampire 12.
No, he wasn't that. He didn't look that small.
No, he wasn't that small. He worked out a little bit.
The way they shot the film made him look maybe a little smaller, but he put on some weight, but he's gonna put on more weight.
Right.
Like Batman is way bigger than that.
Yeah, that was leading up to the movie. That was my biggest concern because I heard that he didn't want to work out, and then it was claims. I don't know how true any of this is, but claims that he was saying like body weight image and all of this shouldn't be a thing or whatever. But like my issue with that is you're playing
a role.
You're playing Batman. This is a human who fights gods.
Yeah.
The dude's gonna be ripped. Like, there's no way you're gonna fight a god and not be ripped.
My thing is, you need to just do what everybody else in Hollywood do and just take them steroids, bro.
Bruh.
Just take steroids, bro.
Do you think we're gonna get a Batman Beyond movie, and do you think we're gonna get a movie on Robin getting murdered by the Joker?
I mean, we kind of got that with the Robin being killed with the Joker within the Snyderverse. That was what they were alluding to.
Are we talking about Red Hood Robin?
Jason Todd.
Yeah.
Jason Todd? Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's kind of what they were alluding to within that. That was supposedly Jason Todd who died.
Okay.
And it was the Joker that killed him. So they touched on it, but the actual film dedicated to that. I mean, they have the animated film.
Yeah, the animated.
No, I'm just saying 'cause they dedicated in like comics and stuff. Somewhere, like, why don't you get a film on this nigga being tortured and stuff?
Right.
If we do, it'll
That's
probably
pretty
be distant future, I think, because I don't know if we're even getting a Robin in this current series.
Batman Beyond, though, yes, I feel like that's coming because that's a cult classic that everybody loves. That's the one like version of Batman that's not Bruce Wayne that people are like, okay, that's cool. Like any other time that anybody else takes on the Batman suit,
I really
it's
want.
temporary.
I just don't know how soon we're gonna get it because
I'm willing to bet there's a bug in my drink. You need to get the fuck out of there. I'm willing to bet within the next 10 years or so. And I say that because I've heard talks like already, like they've been considering it.
no, Batman Beyond is like growing up was.
Yeah, no, it was a shit. But here's the question: you think that they would make a film, or do you think they would make a TV show at this point?
We
It
talking
would
about
probably be a Netflix or not Netflix.
No,
HBO Max.
Honestly,
HBO Max.
I feel like it'll be a movie that if it do well, it'll lead up to a series.
I think it would be the opposite.
So yeah, I was about to say that.
I think it'll be a TV show that if it gains enough traction, then it'll be.
I know what it's possible because
Because you got to think the production value of what a Batman Beyond. Think about what Batman Beyond looks like.
it is the future.
Like you got to think of how much money you would have to put into something.
Everybody
like
dropping
that.
Teslas with no
You know what I'm
wheels.
saying? So I think it would be a TV show first, and if people show enough interest, it'll probably be a movie.
You right because they did Batman Dad. Krypton, y'all watched that on
Yeah, I
Sci-Fi?
saw that.
That was pretty good, but I'm talking about the production level of like the
Right.
freakiness going on. It was good.
Yeah,
So it's possible.
It was cool. No, I actually enjoyed the show too. It fell off though because like people, nobody cared about I guess
His dad.
Superman's dad. They were like, well, I don't care about Krypton. Like that's semantics. Like
So I have a
let's get to
question.
Superman.
So do you think, like, okay, so obviously Marvel is able to create movies standalone, but they're able to blend characters from other movie series and kind of put them in movies together, Avengers, stuff like that. Obviously, DC hasn't had that same luck.
Success.
But you know
Now,
what DC do that?
but with their standalone movies, if it's a standalone movie by itself outside of the shared universe, it's a little bit more. They have a much better chance, in my opinion.
Right.
Do you think that that's maybe what they should continue doing, or do you think they just need to do another but execute it differently as far as a shared?
Bro, they still don't know what they're doing. Personally, I do agree. I think that they shouldn't keep trying to chase after Marvel's tail, and that they need to just do their own thing. I have both a love-hate relationship with like the Joker film. But it's a fantastic film.
Right. But it's like
that's not the Joker, but that's getting into a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
But like it is a fantastic film. Like and so like they could have success doing more of that. This whole Batman series is not related to the rest. So it seems like they are, and like from what I've read, so they essentially just I don't know if they hired this person yet, but they opened up the role for essentially their own version of Kevin Feige. So they're going to have one person that's over all of the media. That's been part of their main issue is that anytime it's like the presidency, anytime a new director, somebody new of power came into the spot to create the next film, they were going over like what the last person was doing.
yeah.
Which is also why like the Snyderverse, they call it the Snyderverse because like he was over those films specifically. but like it's not shared across it. Just direction was all over the
What
place.
did you think of the Snyder cut? Did you watch it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, were you a big fan of it?
I am. Yeah, for sure.
I personally, if they were ever gonna do shared movie universe type thing again, I think they should be big movies like that. Because they have so much content in them that they have to cover, and so much that they have to cover, and especially us as comic fans, when you make a movie like that, you as long as it's good at least anyway. Right. Like if it's you gotta think if they do an Infinite Crisis or Infinite Earths or something like that, you're gonna need to make a 4.5 hour movie. To me,
that needs to be a couple movies, bare minimum.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, or something. You know what I'm saying? So I do think that I think it's pop. But the thing about a couple of movies is if you make one movie that's just 2.5 hours, I think at that point you need to make multiple big. Right. I think with the Snyder cut, it was so good. I had never watched.
It was a good blend of movies.
I had never watched 4.5 hour movie all the way through and just was like.
Well, we watched that as a group, boy. Remember that? Boy.
Like I watched the whole thing and didn't stop. Like you know, it was so interesting to see a movie that actually fixed so much of what the original movie fucked up.
I mean, it was just more of the full vision. There was still things like I don't mean to always be like,
no, for sure, no, yeah, absolutely,
issues.
No, absolutely.
Like, way too much slow motion. Like almost every scene was like some type of slow mo.
Yeah.
Which extended the movie by a lot. Like maybe if they got rid of some of that slow mo, just made it normal mo. I don't know what that is.
Cut out 30 minutes.
Cut out like 30 minutes of the movie. But then that and like honestly with Snyder's verse, I have like I agree but also disagree. Like they keep wanting to make this Superman like the New 52 or Injustice Superman.
I was gonna say Injustice timeline.
And it's not like that's not what Superman really is. He is like the Boy Scout. He's the boy of hope. He's the hero of hope. And he just stands on
I don't
hope.
think we
so,
even
we need more like that.
We didn't ever even get to see him really. Like we got visions of what it would look like, but that was what really. That's what because it's like okay, it's one thing to say okay we got him and it wasn't what the play was.
Right.
But it's another thing to say like okay we were gonna get him and we saw visions of what the future looked like.
Right.
Why the fuck is Joker working with Batman?
Right.
Like what the fuck is going on? And Superman come landing and we don't know what. And now we never gonna see none of that because it's like you know what I'm saying. So I would have at least liked to see it, but I do agree with you. Superman he's never been that whatever. But it's interesting to have that. Okay, that's an immovable force. How the fuck are we gonna defeat that with no kryptonite here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, yeah.
That'd be a good movie too, because they got.
I mean, he released like the script.
Yeah.
Or the rough draft scripts for
the next one
for Justice League 2 and I think like 3 or like there's 2 parts to 2 or something like that or 3 parts I can't remember for sure. But like you can go read the whole like what his overall vision was, like where everything was going, and it's a cool idea. Like it's good. Yeah. It is.
DC's
they're in a weird place.
I just love to see Batman take down the whole Justice League like he did in the cartoon.
Yeah, that's
that'd be great.
Why is my Judas Contract?
I mean, if you want, just give us the Batman who laughs. Fuck it. I mean, that's.
But that's the goddamn. Ain't that the goddamn series? That's Batman Metal, ain't it?
Batman Metal.
Yeah. You know the series with all the Jokers. All the Jokers is like took over the Justice League and shit. They like different variations.
So are we talking about the one after he got Dr. Manhattan's body or before he got Dr. Manhattan's body? That's the question because. After he got Dr. Manhattan's body, it was.
I think eventually they'll get to some series like that. Like that was like the latest crisis event for DC right now.
But that's what we need though.
That's what I think. If DC is gonna if they're gonna go out shooting these blanks, go out on some hard shit. You know what I'm saying? Give us like an Infinite Crisis. Give us a. Something. But I think the problem is now is they just don't have the characters established already to make something like that work.
They have some of them established. Like they're continuing on with Wonder Woman. I don't know if they're going to continue with Flash now because like Ezra Miller.
Yeah, he's going crazy, ain't he? Yeah. And he like getting into fights and shit.
What you mean he's going crazy?
Yeah, so like he hit another bitch or something. Like
at the bar and shit.
Bitches. That was a while ago, but like he fucked up again.
Yeah, he been getting in fights.
And so like they're I think
that boy crazy with power. He like I'm the fastest alive.
But I don't know if like does that mean that are they dropping what they're doing with the Flash film, which would be Flashpoint,
but
which
can
would
they just
reset their timeline?
Yeah, they're not gonna. They need Flashpoint. Flashpoint literally after Flashpoint, then get him the fuck out of there.
Right. And you can at that point technically have an entirely different Flash character.
So I have another question then. I mean, let's switch back to Marvel if you don't mind. So. Obviously, like I said, Disney owns X-Men.
Right.
I mean, what do you see what do you see in the future for that? Like, I mean, obviously they're gonna release a movie at some point, right? You think?
Like, what's the first X-Men film, or just like the direction that they're gonna go?
What do you think direction they're gonna go? Because obviously they're gonna be a part. I mean, obviously I would think it's got to be part of the Marvel. No, it is a reset because they just got Bob It. So obviously,
if they reset, I think that's gonna come. This is my theory. It would be after Secret Wars and like Battle Worlds,
which is the current series coming up, right?
That's what that's what the talk is. Like, it's not official, but like that is what everybody thinks.
Oh, the one they writing down in the comics?
Yeah, for Spider-Man.
No, not in the comics. No, it's an older comic, but like what that's the direction that they think that the MCU is.
Oh, okay.
They think that the next big arc is the Secret Wars. So like, to try to summarize that story as much as possible, there was something called incursions happening. Incursions was world or universes colliding into each other. When they did, both universes would be wiped out unless you figured out a way to wipe out the other universe. The Illuminati was so there's a bunch of different universes. It really comes down to, at the very end of it, the 616, which is the main universe, against why is my mind gonna go blank on me right now? The other, not the Amazing, somebody help me out here.
It's with numbers. I forgot.
No, it's not a number.
I know 616 is the
61. Yeah, they all do have numbers, but it came down. The last two universes was the 616 and like the Ultimate Universe.
Oh, okay.
So the Ultimate Universe is where is where Miles Morales is originally from, and the Ultimate Universe is a more grounded universe. It's the concept of what would happen if superheroes just started popping up today. And like what that would look like.
Oh, that's the Ultimate Universe.
That's what the Ultimate Universe. That's how it started as.
Yeah, no, I read that shit. And I read the Miles Morales series, like half of it, and like I just love how it came about.
That's where the Ultimate Universe.
And you watch
started.
like.
So in the comics, the end of Secret Wars was those two worlds battling. You don't actually know which one. Technically they both lost, but then it picks up later. After that, that was like the incursions, and then it picks up. So, Doom. I don't know if y'all care about spoilers.
No,
more than likely the show.
They're probably going to go different anyway.
Yeah, right.
They're going to probably go different.
So Doom becomes essentially God King Doom. He gets all of his power from the Molecule Man. The Molecule Man was a guy that was basically, if all of his power was to be released, he could be detonated in each universe, and he was a Nexus being. So like he was the same in every single universe. And if he was detonated, he can wipe out entire universes. And he was essentially given power by the Beyonders as like a way to, eradicate all life.
Fails.
Yeah. So, but Doom ends up figuring out how to like siphon off his power, and then he becomes God, and he creates an aftermath of all the universes colliding in on each other and all being wiped out. He creates Battle World, which is like an amalgam of like all these different universes, and it's like wild. So like, there's a bunch of Thors in general, like the Thor clan essentially, and then there's a bunch of Hulks and like the whole clan. Like there's not just one or two, there's a bunch of them. And so like they act as like the police force, and nobody really remembers like what things were like before this world was created, except for a few people that survived on this one spaceship, which included Miles Morales, was it Doctor Strange? I can't remember for sure. It's been a little while since I like read it, but so like a bunch of people did survive. Reed Richards, I think, was one of them in this one ship, and it happened to be like discovered on this planet, and everybody that was in the ship was not affected by like the rewriting of time, essentially. So like they remember everything as it was before, and they're like trying to figure out who's behind everything. So like Doom ends up being behind everything. He's known as God King Doom. He's like ridiculously powerful. Put it into comparison, God King Doom was so powerful. Thanos walked up with like the Infinity Gauntlet, and God King Doom just ripped out his spine straight out of him. Like he was like he reached into his body, like pulled out his spine. He was like, "You're fucking nothing." Like, so yeah, like just ridiculously. Like people think that like Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, that's big bad shit. Like the Infinity Stones, they can do it. Like nah, there's the Beyonders themselves are more powerful than that. Like arguably, the Molecule Man is more powerful than the Infinity Gauntlet. Like there's a lot of beings and things that are stronger than the Infinity Gauntlet. That ain't shit. Yeah. So like that's that, and eventually Doom does get defeated by Reed Richards. Reed Richards, like it's a whole philosophical conversation that they have. Reed Richards is like the better version of the two, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because isn't Reed Richards the strongest mutant, or is that
no? So Reed Richards,
his son, I think.
The son.
Yeah, so yeah, you're talking about Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards is like
Franklin Richards is
reality.
He like God level.
He's arguably probably like multiverse level, so like not just universal level, but like he can manipulate reality on a stupid scale. So yeah, it was cool that like in Doctor Strange, like they reference Franklin Richards, right? So it's like fuck, like he exists, even if it's in a separate universe, like he exists.
Yeah.
So that's cool. My kind of, if you guys don't mind me going on,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
my kind of theory, and I don't think I'm like the only one. Like people, if you have an idea, like other people probably have the idea too. But I think that something like that is going to happen. I do think that Secret Wars is what they're like kind of going for in the next phase of Marvel. But instead of it being Doom, Doctor Doom, I think that they're setting up Kang the Conqueror as being the Doctor Doom in this universe, and so we learned about incursions happening within the MCU now, like universes are colliding, and it's caused, I think, either by like something that Kang did or something that tied to Kang with that like happened with like Loki and what's her name like resetting, right? So like when all of that happened, all the universes started colliding. I think that Kang, not that he's causing it necessarily, but yeah, it's tied to him, and that he'll end up being the one to survive like everything and then restructure the Earth into creating like essentially Battle World, and then we're gonna have something roughly the same from the comics play out. It's just gonna be Kang instead of Doom, and then they'll probably reset the timeline at that point. Like that'll be their version of Flashpoint, and then they'll reset, and then they'll probably have X-Men characters, mutants and stuff, and the Fantastic Four, like they're definitely having those before.
Yeah, because they bought
series.
Fantastic Four also.
Right, so like all of that's going to come into play before this series wraps up. But when they do that, that's going to allow them to restart the timeline and then be like, look, now mutants were here the entire time, and it's not going to be weird.
Yeah.
That's my theory, my guess.
Yeah, because they're going to have to justify X-Men not having been there all along, they have to do some type of reset. Like to me, because it's like when all these threats were happening, where the fuck where was Cyclops, where was Fantastic Four, where was...
For the time being, I'm willing to bet that it's going to be like they're pulled in from other universes, and like that's how their existence is going to be here until we get the reset.
I wonder,
when we get the reset, it's just.
I wonder who they're going to have start playing a lot of these people now, because a lot of them we know as iconic. We know Wolverine as the guy we saw play him 20 years, and he's not. He's kind of old at this point. Him coming back.
To be honest, like people have talked about like a lot of different people that they want. I've heard Daniel Radcliffe come up to play Wolverine. See, that's the face I make. I'm not. Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They want Harry Potter to play Wolverine. I'm not
joking.
Not that's a Canadian.
Well, I just don't know.
He can play Nightcrawler.
I mean, if you see Wolverine in any iteration, he's just not built the way.
Wolverine is short. He's like 4 something, 5 something.
Short, grizzly hair.
He's super short. I want that. Like I honestly don't like wrestling personally, but like I think that they should go to the WWE or some shit.
Yeah,
I can get a wrestler.
Pick a wrestler.
Yeah, we need a fucking lumberjack.
Like,
we need a
pick a short, strong, stubby ass motherfucking dude. Yeah. And that's who.
Put him in that fucking spandex fucking X-Men suit.
Right.
And make sure he can fucking act. Well, if he's in the WWE, he can fucking act anyways, probably. So.
Nah, for shit.
I mean, look at a lot of.
I'm not a fan of WWE though. So.
I mean, there's guys Batista and John Cena. I mean, John Cena's actually making his way now with Peacemaker and all that stuff.
I'm a guy who's on Peacemaker.
But Batista, honestly, we gotta. I mean, there's WWE people come over and they actually make names for them. So I think what The Rock did was pretty crazy. I mean, he came over and made fucking.
Because essentially, it's WWE, you acting anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you an actor anyways. It's just you gay.
No, what?
I mean, I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry.
No hate. We love gays.
I'm joking. I fuck with wrestling.
I don't know, man. They definitely be wearing the spandex and they like to play pretend.
Yeah,
I get it. I'm into anime. That's my thing with my boy Chris. Like, so he's in wrestling. I'm into anime.
Yeah, I joke.
And he be telling me anime's that gay shit. And I'm like, at least it's better than dressing up like a fucking little girl and running around on stage wearing the spandex, right? Like, whatever.
What anime you been keeping up with lately?
Manga or watching?
Both.
Anime, manga. So I've been still reading, of course, Dragon Ball Super, and I've been doing my breakdowns of each of those chapters as they've been coming out on my channel. And then I've been reading One Punch Man, keeping up with that. And I've been keeping up with My Hero Academia. And there's some other stuff I read here and there, but those are the main ones that I do keep up with. And then watching Rising of the Shield Hero and catching up on season 2.
Okay, you watching that shit too? Okay.
Yeah. You watching season 2?
Rising of the Shield Hero? Yeah. Yep, I finished season 1. I just got started season 2. I got Crunchyroll and shit, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to wait till it hit the
Funimation right now, but it's about to become Funimation bought Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
It's about to become the same thing. Rising of the Shield Hero. I'm on like episode 3 of season 2. Black Clover, although that's on hiatus at the moment. Dr. Stone, I was watching that. That's now on a little break again too. I just started watching. This other show was canceled, so I ain't actually gonna say the name. It was stupid, anyways. I don't. I mean, I will watch One Punch Man when it comes back out, but I've been reading like the manga. I fell off of watching My Hero Academia because like just reading, I don't know, like. I didn't want to watch the same.
I think reading is better, anyways. I think
normally I prefer that.
I think the manga actually just looks better.
Yeah.
The manga's always like more visual.
Well, I don't know. It depends on the manga artist and the anime itself. It depends on the adaptation and shit too. It depends because One Piece is one of those anime where the anime actually does look better than the manga a lot of times. But then you watch something like Naruto and it might be a different dynamic.
I don't know, man. Naruto or Boruto? I don't know Boruto as well, but Naruto, there's panels within reading it that are like just so much crap going on. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to.
The anime's way better.
Yeah, but some chapters. But then there's other chapters that are absolutely.
Boruto actually is really fucking lit now. Actually,
I've heard the manga is good right now.
It started out really trash, but it's really lit now, and the anime is getting lit too. Honestly, it's a lot of lit shit that happened. You know, we saw. I'm not want to spoil shit because there's some really heavy shit going on in there. But some very important characters died.
Spoil everything.
No, I mean he's watching it, or obviously he's interested in some form because he saw Naruto. I haven't seen Boruto, but
I have not been keeping up with Boruto though. I'll be real with you.
A very very important character died. Like it was like he's been
not Naruto, right?
He's been there from the very first episode. I'm gonna just put it like that.
Oh, what's the other dude?
No, I'm not gonna say who, but he died.
Mitsuki?
It was a very big.
Mitsuki deserved to die. Oh, it's the dude. It's the bully, right?
It was big though.
He was supposed to die.
It was a big moment, and the internet was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. If you had to kind of stay off the internet at that time because 9 times out of 10 you probably found out already. Yeah. You probably know. You probably just forgot, low key, because it was all. When I tell you, it was.
Yeah, it was Naruto. Yeah, he did.
No,
he did. I know he died. In the alley.
But it was crazy. But Boruto is actually getting lit now, and I already knew it was always going to be lit at some point because when you saw the first episode and you seen the scene with
it had potential.
I already knew it happened. It's just like how long is it going to take to get there? 300, 400 episodes, 500 episodes. Like fuck. That's why I hate shonen. I just want to rant real quick. So I've been on anime manga my whole life. You know what I'm saying, since the 90s. I started out with Toonami, Adult Swim. I was getting cassette VHS tapes and I was getting DVDs. My uncle had a whole wall just full of DVDs of shit that just I had never heard of before. Detonator, Oregon, you know what I'm saying? Just obscure shit all the way to Evangelion, Bebop, all that shit. And one thing about growing up on anime is I love shonen, but the thing about shonen is I feel like shonen, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Because, my favorite shonen of all time is Yu Yu Hakusho. I feel like goated. Like, Yusuke Urameshi, goated. Like, just goat niggas. And the thing about anime to me now, especially with shonen, is that it just takes too long to get to where we need to go a lot of times. Like, and I always felt that way, but Dragon Ball just did a really good job at it because at least they entertaining you a lot more throughout the way, you know what I'm saying? To get to where you gotta go. I feel like even with One Piece, I'm a very big fan of One Piece, it's so much exposition to get to where you gotta go in shonen. And it's like, how long does it take to get to the good parts of something? You know what I'm saying? With Boruto, if it takes me 150 to 200 episodes to get to a good part, that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't take me 150 episodes to get payoff. Especially if it's not like a Gundam or like a.
Yeah, you say that though, but One Piece is held on to some stuff for over 1,000 episodes.
No, for sure.
Chapters. And then they're just now starting to drop some steps.
Yeah, the Joy Boy shit. Like, and you know what? I appreciate it for that. And the only reason I really stuck with One Piece is because I literally been watching it from child. I grew up with Luffy. You You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like
One Piece going on for like 20, 30 years right now. they
and even with Dragon Ball, I'm probably not. I don't read the manga currently, so I'm not as big of a fan as you are. But even just watching the show, I'm caught up on the show.
Right.
Like you know, the moment another super episode drops, I'm on it. I haven't really been reading the manga, huh?
You watch the movies?
Yeah, the Broly movie was the latest one I watched. And I know the Gohan movie's about to come out. I haven't seen it yet.
Superhero. No, it does. It drops. They just released the date like yesterday, August.
Yeah. I can't fucking wait.
15.
They say Piccolo about to wish for a new form because he ain't strong enough.
Well, it's just Gohan is like, I feel like Gohan. So we already know that. I think we all know the story how
he gonna die again.
How Dragon Ball Z was originally, at least this is what I heard. It was supposed to end after the Frieza saga, but then they wanted it to come back, and then this is just what I heard. I don't know this
speculation. Okay,
that's not entirely true. Kind of right. That like some of that's been debunked. So like Akira Toriyama has like there was. I don't mean to cut you off.
No.
There was speculation that it was supposed to end at Frieza. There's speculation it was supposed to transition over to Gohan as the main character after Cell. And then
but that makes sense how that Cell shit ended though, because you really felt like that was it.
The truth of it is Akira Toriyama had been wanting to stop it for a very long time, which that is true. He has been he did want to stop, but he never knew when the his team or not it's he was being paid to deliver something at some point, so it was up to the company, which technically his company Bird Studios is the one that actually owns Dragon Ball, and then it's just released through Funimation and why is my mind going blank on me right now, the cat, Toei, and it's distributed out through these other companies. But his editor and stuff, when they were finally okay, now you can end it. So he didn't know when he was gonna be able to end it. Technically, Dragon Ball was supposed to end after the first Pilaf saga, the very, very first saga. That's technically when he actually was going to end it. And then I think it was his editor. I don't want to say the name wrong. I'm bad. I can't remember if it's Toriyama. No. Anyways, his editor. Was hey, no, you should this action stuff is really good, which he had been doing some other action manga around that time, before that, and even after that, he's released more other stuff. But yeah, no, he ended up deciding to continue it, and just finally got done around Boo.
I'm excited for Bleach to come back. That was random, but I just want to.
Bleach?
Bleach is going to be fucking amazing.
My only thing is how many of these things are they going to keep bringing back at this point? It's just being off of nostalgia. Super itself, Goku's become a stereotype of himself. He's not the same character that he once was.
He's a bad boy.
Well, I will say, first of all, I have for a very long time, I have probably since the Cell saga, no, probably since Buu saga, I think that's when it changed for me. I think I've liked Vegeta more than Goku for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
He's had more development. He was
who he was from the beginning to who he is now. I mean, he's missing Bulma while he's training with Goku and all this other shit. That's something he would have never done. Versus Goku, I feel like my biggest problem with Goku, and I mean this, I feel like he's like that purposely. My biggest problem with it though is that I'm a big fan of Steins Gate, Psycho Pass. I'm a big fan of anime with character development, great stories, great this, great that. Which in a shonen you're not always gonna get. And I think and that's what I'm saying. When you watch My Hero Academia or when you watch Jujutsu no Kaisen, or you watch a lot of these new shonen, they know how to also give you good development. All that. You don't get that with Goku. That's my biggest problem, man. Or to me, it felt like I haven't gotten it much as.
So it's true if you picked up from essentially Z. So in Japan, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z are not two separate things. They're one run.
Right.
It's all just Dragon Ball. Goku does have character development. He starts off, if you've read everything and watched from him as a kid, he starts off being this wild young man. The whole first arc essentially is him learning that he's not the strongest out there and that there's always somebody stronger, and that instills the mindset that he has now of he just always wants to get better.
Well, I do want to say, first of all, I've seen all of Dragon Ball, so I know as far as Dragon Ball, he had hella development in Dragon Ball, all the way up to Tien, through Piccolo, through all of them.
But all the way going up to Piccolo, that's basically where, I'm sorry, I don't
for
finish
sure.
My thought real quick. But his development all the way up to that point is from the first start of Dragon Ball up to the end of Dragon Ball before you get into the Z. It's him winning the tournament against Piccolo. That is when he becomes and he gets the title of strongest in the world. So that was his entire character arc, going from nothing to the hero, the number one in the world. And then you go into Z and you find out that there's not just the world, but there's aliens and a larger universe out there. That's where the development started kicking in from that. And now, even within Super, and it's debatable. And do you guys care about spoilers? Like,
nah, man.
I mean, I've seen a lot of it.
We might not have a comic podcast in a minute.
So you're familiar with basically like they found a way for more development for both Goku and Vegeta, but it's debatable on what some of it does for like some of the characters. Like there's a wish that's made, and it's like it makes a lot of what Goku went through as a child in Dragon Ball kind of like redundant and pointless. It kind of fucks some shit up. But it's cool that they did find something for the characters to now focus on that is like development for them. Can I say, like, I don't know.
No, yeah,
say it,
I'm kind of interested.
So like the wish that was made, Bardock fought against a villain an enemy that Goku's fighting now, and he was told that Bardock, or you find out that Bardock made a wish that he wished that his sons to another dragon on another planet, that his sons would grow up healthy, essentially, or grow up strong. Like there's different translations of like what the phrase was that he wished for. But bottom line is that like they grow up well. Okay, like it's basically what he wished for. So what that ruins within Dragon Ball is you're telling me that Goku survived now from Taiyo Pepe, from General Blue, from fighting the Red Ribbon Army, not because he was strong, but just because he was wished that he would grow up and he's still a child. So therefore, how can you grow up if you die as a child, right? So like. Kind of defeats a lot of that development.
Dragon Ball.
Like he still has development within that just because you wish to survive and like
it helped him push the limits.
It doesn't mean that like he doesn't still like go off and train. Like he still is who he is because of him. It's not because of the wish.
But he has that boost. He has that.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, well, fuck. Like Taiyo Pepe probably should have killed him when he hit him with the Donam Ray, but the Dragon Ball. I don't know. So there's like some interesting parallels and stuff, but like that's bad. But the part that they're now able to develop on is in order for Goku to like truly master Ultra Instinct. There's always a way that they're you mastered it, but you haven't fully mastered it. That shit is annoying, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. But the way for him to truly master it is that what Whis has been trying to tell him is that you need to learn and embrace who you truly are. And Goku up until this point has always not claimed to Saiyan, right? He's always been like, I am of Earth. I'm an Earthling essentially. Like that's what he's more or less pushed.
What Vegeta already is. What Vegeta is already pushing, leaning into, he's doing kind of the opposite.
So they both actually need to like. Now their development is for like different aspects of like almost the same thing. Goku needs to embrace who he is, which means embracing his Saiyan side too. Cool. This is something that like it's something for him to work on. It's some type of development, something for him to do. Which is nice that after all this time they found something.
And I figured that he had never really confronted that, really.
Right, and then but then for Vegeta, what he needs to work on in order to like get Ultra Ego and like fully tap into that is he needs to still have pride in the Saiyans, but not just like when he talks about pride, the idea is that like he's prideful in himself and being like the prince of all Saiyans. He's above everybody else.
He wants to be proud of the race.
But he needs to be proud of the race as a whole and like. At the same time be prideful, but like that doesn't mean like feel fucked up about the sins that you're like, because he's not an evil anymore, right? And Saiyans were taking over planets and shit, so it's not to feel guilty and like try to atone for what all of your race has done, but also have pride in your own race. Like it's an interesting concept, right? It's honestly some shit that like we could relate to and gain from
in real life
today, right? Like so it's cool, like they found something for these two characters to work on. But then at the same time, like they did some fuck shit to get there, so it's like I don't know.
I like Vegeta, man. I'm just glad he's still shining. You know, I mean, he ain't never gonna be better than Goku. But
how you feel about them having good Saiyans? Because then they have a universe of like good Saiyans. Why didn't they explore that?
They need to. That's a lot of people have been asking for that. Eventually,
because they didn't know how to turn the Super Saiyan. It's like legend.
Yeah.
The Tournament of Power opened the door for so much more that they're
and they haven't even tapped into the.
They're probably never gonna finish it. Honestly, there's gonna probably be so many different seasons that they can do with that shit.
Yeah, I do feel like Dragon Ball's like not going anywhere anytime soon. It does suck that like again Goku has become like a stereotype of himself. Like in Super, he's just like this stupid, giddy child, but in an adult body essentially. But that's not how he was in Z. That's not what he remembered. Like when he went Super Saiyan. Yeah, right. Like he got serious. Like. When it, as an example within the Buu Saga, when he became Super Saiyan 3 and like...
Yeah, he was angry.
He gets on into Trunks for like stopping. He's like, move! Like, he was still serious.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't just ever like fucking playful or whatever and just dumb. But in Super, he has become very fucking dumb, so that sucks. But and Vegeta is also like, how many times can you like? I'm glad that they found a new lesson for him because they kept rehashing the same lessons that he's already had.
That is true.
Oh, like Goku, you are the strongest. Like I have respect. How many times are you gonna go through the same fucking lesson? Like you did that back in the Buu saga. That was done. Like why are we rehashing this shit? So I am excited to see like kind of like where they go, and in the manga they're doing some cool shit. Like doing some fuck shit, but they're doing some cool shit.
Did you like that? I seen the fucking Susanoo shit, but we'll talk about that.
I don't fuck with that personally.
Did you? Yeah. So what? It looked weird.
It's not even just that. So like, there's not been a single time in Dragon Ball where Goku has ever just pulled a move out of his ass with no explanation behind it. When he learned to teleport, we learned that he learned it from the Argats. When he learned to, which I mean, arguably that's a form of spirit control that he might have been able to have learned from the Argats or whatever. But like the Genki Dama, he learned that from King Kai. Everything that Goku has ever done, every skill that he has, Kaioken, everything.
Yeah, it has an explanation.
We knew when he learned it and how he learned it. This was a move that they pulled just out of their ass because they wrote themselves into a corner. They didn't know how to fucking end it. So that's what pisses me off about it. Is it cool looking? Sure. But like, I hate that they didn't explain it. And that's the bullshit that Super is really like getting over with right now. What I don't like about it, but I'm going to keep reading it. It's like, go put the shit. And like, it's my shit. I know too much about it. So I'm going to keep reading it. But yeah, like they do a lot of just ass pulling shit. Just ass pulling shit and like dumbing characters down and like, I'm just tired of it.
And it's unfortunately, you're going to get that from every shonen, I feel, now to some degree. Now, I'll say that, but that's not necessarily true because, I mean, My Hero Academia, I mean, I do feel like it has its problems, but it is very well executed. I feel like Jujutsu no Kaisen is another example of a really good shonen, well executed. And Dr. Stone is technically a shonen. I mean,
right.
Shaman King ain't got a shonen too?
No.
Ain't it from Shonen Jump?
No, Shaman King is.
It was originally a shonen, but the new one is not.
Yeah, the new one.
What's the adult version of shonen? That's the
Seinen?
Seinen, yeah. Is that what that is?
Yeah, because there's a lot of blood.
I mean, One Punch Man is technically a Seinen.
Yeah, One Punch Man is not shonen at all. No.
So,
lots of blood and guts in it.
If you're not familiar, there's like 5 different types of anime.
Yeah, let's explain.
Shoujo, Seinen, Shonen, I forgot the other two.
I forgot, yeah, so basically shoujo is the opposite, not the opposite. So each one of these categories is basically what they mean. It's not like in America where we have like, this is a comedy, this is an action.
Yeah.
Theirs is more based off of just age and sex. So like this is, a shonen is technically meant for like, boys, like teen years type deal. Shoujo is like the opposite of that. It's like girls in the teen years. So that's like your romance, manga, like the love shit. Those are shoujos. Seinen is like the adult version, so like One Punch Man, so you're gonna see more sexual stuff, you're gonna see more blood, you're gonna see more like raw materials. That's like the Seinen. And then the girls have their adult
like JoJo Bizarre Adventure and shit.
Right.
Shonen, Shoujo, Seinen, Josei, and Kodomomusuke.
Josei is the adult version for the females, and whatever the other, that one's basically Pokemon, Digimon, like little kid shit.
Oh, okay.
So it's basically like just different
yeah, like Doraemon and shit like that. Directed at kids. It's for kids.
Yeah.
Kodomosuke is for kids.
Yeah.
And Josei is like
I didn't know
that was honestly I didn't really know about Josei.
I didn't know about categories like that. I already knew about Shonen. I thought Shonen was a company. I thought it was Shonen Jump, like this the company.
Shonen is really the teenager shit. Shonen is like the teenagers for teenagers type shit. Really.
Oh, I didn't know this shit. So
and that's why when I say that I don't really watch Shonen, like I'm not into Shonen as much as I am into Seinen, Psychopaths, Code Geass, or into shit with more blood, more adult shit, Cowboy Bebop.
So it's like Tokyo Ghoul and shit.
That's always the shit that. Tokyo Ghoul kind of straddles the line because I feel like it's kind of like edgy teenager anime, but it's blood. Like I mean, I feel like it is a seinen to some degree, but I feel like it's more. It leans on the shonen side to a lot of it.
I've been watching Digimon lately a lot.
The new one?
Yeah, the Ghost Games.
I haven't seen the new one.
It's pretty good. Like since y'all talking about the categories, it's a kiddie horror anime.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When I say kiddie horror anime, like the Digimon are killing, but it's not no.
So JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
No, but it's not none of it's.
I mean, JoJo's pretty dark at times.
Yeah, but JoJo is straight up.
Yeah.
The Digimon Ghost Game shit is not. All the killing is not straight up. Like Digimon doing killing, but it's like, oh damn, this person came up missing.
Disappeared.
Yeah, or like they first episode.
What happened?
the first episode they turned somebody old, and like that's how he killed him. Like she aged all the way to an old person and died, and shit like that. So it's like it's not straight up murderous shit, but it's pretty cool.
I mean, if you're manipulating somebody's age, it's God's version of killing.
Yeah, it's kind of retarded because they live in a world where the new Digimon Ghost Game series is that the whole world is like holograms. You know what I'm saying? When I say holograms, it's normal to see you hanging out with a hologram doll or some shit like, and pretty much how they bring it all together is like Digimon is straddling the line of like it's people getting murdered and stuff by like Digimon, but like it's good Digimon coming into the world and they're starting to line of being into the real world and stuff, and it's like some weird shit going on.
I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh had a shot to be the best.
Did you know Yu-Gi-Oh was about murder?
What?
It was about murder.
About murder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean niggas die every day.
Yeah, but they was really like that's the whole.
I mean, yeah, Kaiba was a gang leader.
Oh yeah, company gang leader.
Yeah. Have you read the original Yu-Gi-Oh?
Nah, I looked at the documentary on
the original Yu-Gi-Oh is messed up. Like, it's dark.
Yeah,
like,
they say
definitely
Yu-Gi freak.
Yeah,
he get freaky.
And like he
a little pervert.
I'm
like Yami.
Right
you're talking about Yami Yu-Gi, right? Like
yeah.
This supposed to be like Yu-Gi-Oh. They call it Yu-Gi-Oh Zero because it's like.
Well, before they knew
his name was
before they knew his name was Yami. But yeah, no, like so in the comics or in the manga originally, like when Yami took over, he was straight putting kids in comas and like shit, sending them to the shadow realm. Like that's means he's like
he's murdering them.
Yeah, like in the manga, he's either killing them or locking them in comas, bro. And it's like left and right. Like
that's hilarious.
It is.
That's fucking awesome.
They're at Diamond High or whatever, and like nobody fucking realizes that all these kids and teachers going into comas. Like who happened to fuck with Yugi? Like,
that's a card game mistake.
But like, okay, so that's the other thing. They didn't originally do games.
Exactly. It was
just putting people in there.
It was multiple games.
So he would make a game up. So like Yugi would be getting bullied.
Oh, this dude was like a fucking evil dude.
He was like the Japanese Riddler. Let's say it like that.
What
so Yugi was getting bullied by somebody, right? Yeah. So somebody's picking on him.
Yeah.
Yami would then take over and be like, "You ain't have to fuck with Yugi no more." And so like he like that's not what he would say, but he's like, "Let's play a game." So he would come up with a game on the spot. So like, and this fucked up shit. So like one of them, there's this like one of the examples I like to give. I'll give a couple quick ones. So like one of them is this guy, this bully. He's a karaoke singer. He loves singing, right? So he would force kids to like sell tickets for him to his karaoke thing once a year. And like if they didn't sell, like he would beat them up. Like he would force people to come like listen to his bad karaoke. But he's being a bully about it.
Yeah.
So he convinces Yugi to like sell tickets for him and like this other kid. And Yugi's dumbass is like, I don't want to see you suffer too. I'll try to sell the tickets that he gave you to sell too. Yugi didn't sell not one ticket. So this dude's like, all right, now you're gonna have to suffer and like listen to my entire singing thing like by yourself. So he puts Yugi in and like he starts singing it's bad karaoke, and then Yami ends up taking over. And the fucked up thing about the game that he made him play, so it's a karaoke thing. So he always does something that's like to the enemy or to his opponent, the bully, whatever, like to their weakness. So he makes him play the quiet game. He's like, you're a singer, so we're gonna play the quiet game. So the way that he and it's always like rigged in some type of way to where Yugi's gonna fucking win. So like in this one, so he thinks that like you can't make a noise at all, and it's not even just like a sound out of your mouth. Like you can't tap something and make a noise. Like they're playing silent. And the dude has like how do I say? So like Yugi puts like the jack from like a phone or something like on his drink, and it's like perfectly balanced, and it's almost about to fall. And the dude, the bully, thinks he's about to win. He's like, as soon as that falls, it's gonna make a noise on the table, and like he loses and I win, I get to beat his ass basically. Bottom line, like Yugi always makes a wager. He's like, it's a penalty game. If I lose, you basically get to beat my fucking ass or kill me or whatever the fuck. And if I win, then you have to face a penalty game. It never fucking says what the penalty game is. So, dude thinks he's about to win, and he's holding the microphone that he was just singing with, and he's so like excited that he's about to win that his heart starts beating really fast, and it picks up the microphone. So you start hearing his heartbeat on the speakers within the room, and he's like, "Oh, what is that sound? Whatever." So he's like, "You lose." Like Yugi explains like how he lost. He's like, "Your heartbeat's picking up on your microphone that you did." So his penalty game was he started hearing his heartbeat in his ears, and it just continuously gets louder and louder and louder until he goes insane. That's it. So he makes the dude go insane by hearing his own heartbeat in his head.
Bro.
Like, that's demonic. He's also lit, there's another villain that he lit on fire, or not villains, like there's some other bullies. he makes them like do this maze thing. He lights them on fire, and like they have to.
Yeah, but like the fun thing about it is like, remember like watching Yu-Gi-Oh and all the other games they came up with. They essentially came from that first comic, like Dice Games. Remember, like Yu-Gi-Oh would take Divergent and Dice Games came out.
Yeah.
That was part of like the first comic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They was doing the dice shit.
So like the card game does come up in the comic too. So like the comic is split up into, I think it's 3 parts. There's the original Yu-Gi-Oh, and then there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom, which is where the anime picks up from. That's where that starts. There's a whole arc before that the anime skips. But like that's where the anime's pulling, like when like Joey throws the piece or whatever. That's all, like all of that's in the original, the original run. And then after Duelist Kingdom is the Battle City, and then there's one more after that where basically Bakura is the main villain of the whole series. And Bakura starts off in the original run as well. Like it's like the original one, like I said, and like even through the card game, like Pegasus in the manga, he gets his eye ripped out. Like he's killed and his eye is ripped out. Like it's gory, messed up shit.
Even when he put his eye in, he put it in himself. He like takes his eyeball out and shit.
Yeah.
And Kaiba had green hair.
And Kaiba was a jerk too.
So is the original comic canon?
Yeah. Technically.
Yeah,
it's all one continuity. So like the reason why they don't fuck with Kaiba as well, before that, like Kaiba created something called Death T. It was an amusement park. Death Theme Park is what like Death T stood for. And he sent Yugi and basically his friends ended up falling into it. And like the games that he had to play within this theme park, like it was levels. So like once you beat like one level and you're like getting up to, and it's like when it's a theme park, it's a skyscraper.
Yeah.
So like they have to play through each one of these things to eventually face off against Kaiba.
Right.
And like basically like one of the games is Kaiba locks them in a room with basically Texas Chainsaw Massacre dude. And like Joey has to fight the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like it's dark, bro. Like it's really messed up. He lets a serial killer loose on him. Like Mokuba, before they even get into Death T, Mokuba's like, we're gonna have a buffet, you guys are my guests. But Mokuba tries to kill their asses by poisoning food that they have and like turns that into a game. Wow. Russian roulette, like you spin the fucking wheel, there's a bunch of food on it, and whichever food's in front of you, you have to eat, but like some of the food's laced with poison. So like Mokuba does that to him. Like it's messed up, dog. Like it's about murder. Like
it's about murder.
Yo, I gotta go read that shit. Yo. That shit sounds lit. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't put it on.
I like the darker version of that shit. Like,
oh yeah, no, it's
I always liked the older Japanese shit. Anyways, like Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne and all that shit. It was always darker and you know that's lit.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Now you should look up pictures of like what Yugi looks like in his original drawings. When Yami takes over, like he looks evil, bro. Like he looks
nigga's an evil spirit.
Like fucking what was the leprechaun shit? Like he almost looks
like the
evil smile and shit. Like
he's a little pervert too. Funny.
Oh yeah, no, they look at porn in the fucking original.
Really?
Like that girl you have with you trying to sexually harass her.
Yo, and homegirl.
Yeah, Tia.
She's fucking toxic too. Not Tia. What's her name?
Oh,
the brown hair one.
With the blonde hair?
No, the brown hair.
Not Mai. Mai is the blonde hair one. I'm talking about the brown hair one, the original one.
I forgot her name.
But she's toxic. So like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to harp on
this shit.
But this shit funny as fuck. So like, Yugi and her go to a water park, right? Because like they're just going to like some amusement water park over summer break, and like he's got a little crush on her, and she's got a crush on Yami specifically, not really Yugi. So she notices that anytime that she's in danger, Yami comes out. So this toxic bitch,
no way, dude.
This chapter dog. No, I'm not even bullshitting. Two dudes start hitting on her, and they're polite about it. They're like, "Are you here by yourself or whatever?" Like they're not even like coming on to her like that. They're just like "What's up? Like you want to go talk?" Like that's it. And she immediately turns over to Yugi and like screams, "Rape! Rape! They're trying to rape me!" Like immediately.
Yami comes out.
No, Yugi was like not there, but like a bunch of other dudes come over and start beating these two dudes' asses. And then so there's a bomber that's going around the city, and he ends up being at the amusement park. And she hears that the bomber's threatening this Ferris wheel. Bitch gets on the Ferris wheel in order to trick Yami. Ended up coming out to save her from getting blown up. She almost blows herself up just to get Yami to come out. Like,
she want that dick bad. Shit, what? That's crazy.
Boy, anime is something else, boy. I am learning a lot on this episode. I'm about to do some research after this, man.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, man. It's
some Kenichi shit.
Shit wild. What have you been keeping up with?
I A lot of lame shit. Really, Digimon. I'm really stuck on Digimon.
You finished Shaman
King.
King?
Oh yeah, I finished Shaman King, but like I said, I gotta rewatch the original Shaman King because I'm kind of lost. But I feel like the original Shaman King from like
it's better.
Forest Kiss was way darker than this one. I feel like the one Netflix made, they try to speed through.
Yeah, man. They after Devilman Crybaby, they was like, okay, we gotta chill.
Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of weird. But they sped through Shaman King. And I'm hoping they make a season 2, but they finished it. Like, it's all the way finished. And the ending was, like, so ass because, like, okay, you got Yo, and you got his brother, whatever his name is, whatever it is. But his brother pretty much pure evil, right? What fucked me up was he been doing all this murdering. He been killing people, murdering them. He becomes the Shaman King. Like, he becomes the Shaman King and everything, right? And at the end, to defeat this guy, all he wanted was his mama. And that was the ending. I was like, what? Like,
so he just wanted his mom back?
No, like to beat him, cause like he was like, cause he made his soul travel over so many years that he was the ultimate soul. So pretty much they couldn't beat him. So they pretty much had to talk with him and be like, yeah, what's the real issue with this? And his mom came like, and was like, I've been here with you the whole time. You just been killing for like no reason, cause your soul, cause your heart wasn't in the right place. You know what I'm saying? Like some real stupid shit. And I'm like,
forgiven.
No, for real, cause they
that's how I felt about the end of Naruto. To be honest with you, I hated that twist at the end. I still don't like that.
But Shaman King was like, it was so like heartbreaking because they went through a lot of dumb shit. Like they died multiple times
and killed a lot of people, a lot of innocent people.
A lot of innocent people died over the years over this bullshit. Just because he was upset that. Like in real life, his mom died. You know, he had to live with that shit. And then even after he passed on and got to the spiritual world, he still wasn't able to like reconnect with his mom. I mean, and it took 1,000 years for this shit to rehappen.
That's a bad story. That's a bad story.
It's not great development. Y'all keep up with, y'all ever read Hunter x Hunter? You watch Hunter?
Yep.
Hunter x Hunter?
Yep. Is it coming
back? The manga's coming back.
Yeah. Is it official?
Officially, the manga is coming back. I don't know when the release date is.
I know he made a Twitter account.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same dude that did Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I feel about that manga the same way I feel about Berserk, where it's just like, I don't think I'll live to see the end. Like I think I'll be dead before it ends, and that scares me.
Don't say that.
Well, first of all, we're never getting the actual true end of Berserk because that author died.
Right.
Oh, okay. And, so he needs to live to see the end.
Yeah, even though he was right there at the end too, like one arc probably away from the end, and we're not ever going to see that now.
Damn.
Which is very unfortunate because it was probably the most critical. I mean, if you really know the history, Berserk is like one of the most critically acclaimed best manga ever released. Period. Like it set the stage. A lot of what Berserk did, shit. Final Fantasy VII was inspired by Berserk. Actually, the big Buster Sword on Cloud's back, that was inspired by Berserk. A lot of shit was inspired by Berserk. You know what I'm saying? So it's sad to see that we're not gonna get the final. And then with Hunter x Hunter, that's what scares me because the author is. I know he was sick for a while.
Okay.
And I know he's been in and out of being sick and shit.
So here's the stupid thing about that. He be having, I can't remember if it's like back pain or like arthritis or whatever, but it's like severe pain that he gets, and that's why he stops writing and drawing, and it hurts him.
Doesn't he have people on his team?
That's the issue. Like, dog, you don't need to draw it yourself because he's been drawing all his own stuff. Like, bro, you don't need to do that. Write down or just say what the story is. Somebody else can write it down for you. Somebody else can draw it for you.
You probably one of the people that's bad at explaining this shit.
Well, no, I think it's more of a when you create something. You know what I'm saying? It's like you want to be the one to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like nobody can do it.
But he could be on the crazy shit. Like, some people supposed to go out.
He's letting Toritaru.
But also, Dragon Ball is way easier to me. Well, no, Hunter x Hunter ain't necessarily
Dragon Ball easier to create than...
I wouldn't even say that because they're both pretty simple art styles. In my opinion. It ain't like he doing...
No, for real. You ever watched that anime on Netflix? Toroku Lives Alone. It's about a 4-year-old kid. He been being abused by his father, and his mother passed away. But you don't find this out until like later in the show. Right. But Toroku lives alone. He's a 4-year-old kid. They got his own apartment, and he lives alone. And it's governed. You find out that it's governed by the government that he lives in this apartment complex. But the whole show is that he lives in an apartment complex, and the community of the apartment complex come together to take care of him. And also he goes and takes care of them. And also like everybody's single, so it's like
sounds boring, bro.
Very lame.
No, it do. It sounds like the devil was a part-timers better.
Hey, you watch this shit? I'm telling you, you'll drop a tear out your eye because the shit is sad. The shit is fucking sad.
First of all, I'm gonna be honest with you.
The boy was eating tissue to survive at one point.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to slice of life, I just cannot. Like, I've tried so hard, and I always get recommended slice of life by my friends. all the time. It's just
it's called Slice of Life.
that what you're watching sounds like Slice of Life because it ain't nobody getting beat up.
Man, I'm watching all type of lame shit right
You know
now.
what I'm saying? It ain't nothing wrong with that. You expanding your horizons and trying different things. You gotta try the things.
Y'all hurting my feelings right now.
No, there's nothing wrong with your taste.
I'm about to
bro.
watch some gangster shit when I get in the room. Don't worry, I'm not going, y'all.
Ain't nothing wrong with your taste. I'll go in my room right now and watch every Gundam series all over again.
Oh yeah, that's what we grew up on, like Gundam.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gundam Wing is my all-time favorite. Gundam Wing and G Gundam, 2 top favorites.
I'm a snob, so we ain't gonna get into my Gundam.
What you got? What you got for me?
No, it's just,
what you
it's
got?
just too much. We'll be here another hour talking about my Gundam shit. So.
Out of Gundams, I don't know. Honestly, I mean, I saw those growing up too, but like that wasn't like my thing.
You gotta go out and come back for the next part. You gotta talk about Gundam. Gundam is good. It's the only war show that you gon' like.
Look, my
robots
favorite
and shit.
Gundam is Gurren Lagann. How about that?
Gurren Lagann is
That was very emotional. I watched that shit.
I got Gurren Lagann in my top 15. I had it in my top. When it first came out, I put it straight in my top 5.
Yeah,
Like, it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I think it's kind of the reason why I moved it a little bit lower now, growing up a little bit, is because Gurren Lagann to me is kind of like Fooly Cooly.
It was too
like,
psychedelic.
It's made by the same person.
No, yeah.
Oh,
really?
for real?
I'm pretty sure. I
know the art style was the same, but I didn't know. I know
same.
Studio Trigger made it. Did Studio Trigger also make Fooly Cooly? Because didn't Studio Trigger make it?
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's the same.
Don't look at me.
Well, I will say that to get to my point while I'm explaining why he looks it up, they're both to me really good coming of age stories also. Now, Gurren Lagann has a very good overall lesson in general, and I don't give a fuck who you are. If you watch that whole series and watch it to the end, you're gonna drop a tear no matter what.
I'm not.
You're dropping a tear on the last scene where the kid is cracking the fucking nut, and you see old ass Simon after he done lost his girl, and like you're gonna drop a tear no matter
Oh, you know, both arcs, because they did the second arc. They was like living in a fantasy world that they built.
Really? Was there? Oh, you're talking about
I'm talking Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, Gurren Lagann season 2. Yeah, they were living in the city. They had built the city.
Yeah,
It
they
wasn't
built
a
the
fantasy
city.
world, but they were living in the city, and then they went against the spirals later, and then the girl dies at the end.
Yeah.
And then he has to then. It's like all the universes are coming together and shit like that. But Simon takes a step back because he lost his girl. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, Fooly Cooly growing up, I still have Fooly Cooly honestly in my top 5 actually.
Hold on, are you watching Demon Slayer?
I'm not a big fan of Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
I'm not the big.
So Demon Slayer it's cool fights, cool animation,
Ufotable.
really good animation,
It's carried by Ufotable.
but it's absolutely there's no character development.
Super carried.
Wow.
It's carried by Ufotable. Let me tell you about Ufotable, bro. Ever since the very first Phase series, and they've been around longer than that, but everything Ufotable touches is gonna be good no matter what. Like the story can be complete trash, but the animation is gonna be so fire that people are going to fucking watch it. Every Fate series, everybody I meet that's seen every Fate series can't tell me the story.
Oh, he the dude that made Fates.
They do all the Fates.
Oh, okay.
But you can't. Nobody can actually tell me what the full story of Fate is.
They don't
Nobody.
connect.
No, they do. They all connect. Every single one of them.
That's true. 'Cause I know somebody watching.
But there's like
Fate,
30
they can't tell
fucking
me what
Fate
it-
series, and they're all different timelines, different this, and they all. But nobody gives a fuck because guess what? We just want to see people get beat the fuck up. That's why we all watch it, and that's how Ufotable blew up because they was riding that Studio Trigger wave of, Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann and shit like that. And they took that animation style and took it to the next level. And really, other than Studio Bones and Studio Trigger and or Madhouse, other than them, nobody's fucking with Ufotable. And Madhouse, the ones that did the first season of One Punch Man,
Oh, okay.
them niggas legit.
You know, it's a good coming of age anime. Rise of the Ranking King. Actually good.
Oh, the new show, Ranking King?
Yeah, on
Ranking of
Crunchyroll.
Kings?
Yeah,
I
Ranking King.
heard it's really good.
Well, I said Rise of the Ranking King. Yes, Ranking King. Goddamn shield hero.
Shield hero.
Yeah. No, the Ranking King is good, but it take a different approach because the main character he can't he a mute, so he doing sign language through the whole show and shit. And like his best, like the best friend he makes is like this blob that's like a race of people that's like. They like shadows. They call them shadow people, but they look like a blob. But he pretty much do all the translation for him, like to people when he wants to start talking and shit. And then it's a coming of age movie. He gonna rise up to be the strongest king at the end of the show.
I feel like as far as coming to age, when you get a certain age, coming to age shit don't hit as much on me. Like for me, like no, I'm saying like for
I feel
me,
you.
Ranking of Kings looks good, but for me at my age right now, I don't want Ranking of Kings.
Yeah.
I want Psychopaths. I want fucking what's that boxing one that came out? That was
Megaloboxing?
I want Megaloboxing.
You finished season 2?
Oh yeah. Nomad. So fucking dude. It's so fucking. That shit's so underrated, huh? Yeah.
Oh, Baki.
Well, now here's my thing with Baki.
Baki's.
Hold on, did y'all watch the new Baki on Netflix or the old Baki?
No, I've seen all the Baki.
Okay.
I've seen the old and the new. But here's the thing with Baki though. I'm a very big fan of Baki and King Undershura. Very big fan of martial arts, anime, manga in general. I read all the manga as well. Gosu, fucking God of High School, all that shit, right? But I feel like Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple, is definitely better than everybody.
Oh, Kenichi, the old one?
Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple.
Yeah.
To this day, it's still the best martial arts manga I ever read in my life. Like,
oh, no.
even as goofy as it was, and my justification for that is that with Baki, they do not. My biggest problem with new martial arts anime now or manga now that old ones used to do is that there's no techniques anymore. Like there's no like okay, like when you read Gameran, okay, we studied this sword style, we have these techniques, we learned these different, you know what I'm saying, which has this different Japanese name. And Baki is just I'm beating your ass, and you might have a different, but mostly it's I'm just physically better than you, and I'm gonna snatch your fucking.
But I thought they explained that shit in the tournament when they start. Cause I know in the beginning of Baki they really explained all the fighting moves they was doing, but in the tournament they was explaining like all the moves he was coming up with.
But the thing about it is it's not as well thought out as when you watch or read Kenichi or you read, because with these other ones it's like they'll do a move and it's like they really thought out, okay, the air pressure when he does his move does all these different and does all it's just different. The feet versus okay, I did a karate chop and it's just a different angle karate chop with a different name.
Or a dude gets his like jaw entirely blown off and he's still fighting.
Yeah, like
fighting with the stub, like his hand's gone.
Yeah,
and his fingers were quote holding him back. He said his fingers were holding him back from punching. He gets into the stub. He's like, I can punch harder now. Like, oh shit! Baki is just ridiculous.
Dude, Baki is fucking insane. And I remember when I saw the very, very first episode of him he was in an alley fighting a bunch of thugs, and he's like, wait. Well, if I put my back against the wall, they can only attack me from so many angles. So he puts his back against the wall, starts beating all their back. I'm like, what the fuck? That was the OG Baki.
Yeah,
like
Baki, he just like
he puts his back against the wall, and he just bing. I'm like, oh my god, this shit is lit. Like, but it's a different type of entertainment. It's like when I want to watch something that's
that's mindless entertainment.
Yeah, when I want to watch something that's more like old school martial arts films or that's more martial arts leaning, I'm gonna read Feng Shenji. I'm gonna read So Death Do Us Part. I'm gonna read Varietas. I'm gonna read The Breaker, New Ways, The Breaker. So I'm gonna read Kenichi, Gosu, all that type of shit. Stuff like King Undershura and Baki is just
that's mindless stuff. It's yeah. Somebody gets knocked out of a 34 building and then they're like, oh, you thought you defeated me. Like let me show you my real strength. Time to get serious.
Like the strongest man in the world is just like ridiculous, bro. Like he can,
daddy doing all that crazy shit.
Literally loses a face and he's like, now I get serious. Bitch, why was you serious before? Like what?
That nigga ridiculous. I guess he's supposed to be Akuma from Street Fighter, I guess is what he
I
guess that's what I'm saying is I guess his daddy is supposed to represent who Akuma is from Street Fighter. Yeah,
like exactly. Elements of it.
Like he's supposed to.
Now why they ain't did that? Like come back with like a better Street Fighter anime. Cause I've seen the old one, but why is that not new?
People still think that one's classic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The old movies are fucking goated.
But we think a lot of that shit classic. We still bringing shit back.
But you gotta. I think really what
and it's new characters.
The thing with Capcom right now is that they are really trying to lean more into their esports scene right now with their games.
Okay.
Like, they're really trying to the Evo, the Capcom Cup, a lot of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then they have a lot of properties, so it's like they don't really have a lot of. You know what I'm saying? They have Devil May Cry, they have Monster Hunter, they have a million fucking games.
I forgot about that. Did you buy that on Switch?
Which one?
The collection, Street Fighter collection.
Nah,
you need to buy it. It's like $20.
Fuck that! Don't do it, dude. Don't.
If all you got is a Switch.
Listen to me.
Hold on, you probably.
There's no difficulty setting.
Oh, you got PS4? Never mind.
There's no difficulty setting on, and it comes where the.
No difficulty setting on it.
Bullshit, there is. I own it.
I got it too. You talking about for the Switch?
On the Street Fighter collection?
Yeah, it's difficult mode on it.
Bro, I'm telling you right now.
I know I'm not true.
That hoe is on very hard. I'm telling you, and I play fighting games for real. I play fighting games every day. There's no difficulty setting on that hoe from what I see.
I gotta go look at it again.
But
don't misquote me, yeah. It's a good buy. And it be on sale. And Capcom about to drop a whole other fighting collection series for on the Switch.
My last thing I want to say, man, is just what I'm saying. As far as the anime shit go, is Dr. Stone to go, bro.
I have not finished that. My brother
Doctor
watched it.
Stone, that's your goat.
No, it's not really the GOAT. What I really wanted to really say was that
It's good though.
Doctor Stone, for the time period we live in, Doctor Stone is a risky anime. Like, because to me, it's not what everybody else is doing right now.
Right, yeah, no, it's a fun
Yeah.
anime to watch.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not reading it.
I want to watch it anyways.
Yeah, I'm just watching, but it is, yeah, no, it's a
If I had
fun
to say what
one.
my favorite anime right now is, like in my head, it would probably be what's ongoing. Probably Jujutsu no Kaisen.
I agree with you on that.
Probably
yeah.
Jujutsu no Kaisen. I'm a big fan of it.
It is.
It honestly hit me out of left field how good it
Like
is.
Demon Slayer is cool, but again, you're right. It's like visuals. Like there's no character development scene. Jujutsu Kaisen has like development, great visuals,
Everything.
Like, yeah, for sure. And I'm excited for One Punch Man to come back, and of course,
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, even though it's gonna probably suck and be good at the same time.
I'm excited for One Punch Man also.
Yeah.
Especially because of where I heard the manga is right now and what's
It's good.
going on in it. I heard
it's
it's
good.
actually some shit going on right now.
It's a little bit weird. So they dropped a chapter last month, and then this month's chapter, or I guess, so the chapter before the last one is out right now. They dropped, and then when the most recent chapter came out, they completely 180. Like they basically, which has happened before. They've like rewritten chapters, but they literally said, "Hey, fuck that last chapter. Like we're going this other direction with it." And it was really kind of confusing to read at first. Like I had to like look and I was like, what the hell? Like they were doing this and now all of a sudden this is going on. And yeah, they were like, yeah, no, they
Which is so weird for
So the guy that writes it, it started off as an online manga, right? So you have to like be a member of his website to read the actual manga, which is his group drawings. They suck. The guy that draws the One Punch Man manga for Shonen Jump, and where they're at right now, is actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the old football manga, I Shield 21.
I Shield 21, yeah.
It's the same, that's the same author.
Oh,
the
really?
Same, artist, yeah.
Shit.
But yeah, no, and he's phenomenal. He's really funny.
Yeah, he is good.
But anyways, yeah, so like, as they're adapting what they've done from the online manga to Shonen Jump manga, he's going like slightly different directions. From my understanding, I haven't read the original, but from like what I've read on forums and shit, like he's either adding more details here and there or changing things up. And so like he has in the past rewritten chapters and released like, so if you read it now, you're gonna get, it's weird. So like we'll have chapters that are like 47.5 and this one's like 48. Yeah. So like those, like there's some like just fun chapters that he just did for the hell of it that don't have to do with the story, and then some of them are like rewrites of the same chapter that you read before, but like in different ways. Yeah, and I don't know if it's like editors not chiming in or if like one himself is just like, you know what, like I changed my mind. Let's actually just do that. I don't fucking know what the reason is behind the shit, but
what's
your
change? Have you ever? How big are you into sports anime altogether? I mean, obviously you watch that show. I haven't watched many either.
I didn't know. I will not watch the anime. I've read the manga. I own the entire manga.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie. My favorite ever is Kuroko no Basketball. Like,
oh no,
that's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Fucking
Oh yeah, that shit good.
I've seen it like 6 fucking times.
Everybody's into
You seen the movie too?
Yeah, the movie's cool.
Everybody's into that volleyball one right now.
Oh,
Yeah,
that shit is good too. You watch that one?
No.
I watched the volleyball shit first, then I watched the basketball shit.
I just watched the Hero no Sora recently, so I have to check out this other shit. But
Yeah.
Man, Kuroko no Basketball is just, it's like Dragon Ball Z basketball.
No
Like,
bullshit.
It's so fucking good because it's like, well, how the fuck is he doing? Oh, I don't give a fuck how he's doing.
But they explain it. They be doing the explaining.
No, I mean they do explain how they're. It's just like in real life, it's just like
That's not,
you know.
that's fucking Ice Shield, bro. But Ice Shield's even more ridiculous. Like it's just.
Is it really? Because now that actually makes me want to watch. Because
No, do
that's
not
why I like
watch it.
Kuroko.
Read it.
That's why I like Kuroko.
Has anybody watched The Prince of Tennis?
I know it.
I heard about
I'm about to watch that next. I don't even watch it.
That's what pulled me into Kuroko was how over the top it was.
Yeah.
Like that's why I like
it's so stupid. So like they have the delinquent murder method, which is just grabbing somebody by the sleeves and ripping them down.
Damn.
Like that's okay in the world of Ice Shield 21. They got a guy that can jump so high that he floats on air.
Oh,
It's
I gotta check
stupid.
that shit.
But then the anime takes it even farther. So like they got the 40-yard Magnum, which is their kicker. He can kick 40 yards, and they're all impressed about that. Like he can kick a field goal 40 yards.
God.
And but like in the anime, I saw an episode. This is what made me turn the anime off. I just watched like one episode, and it was like somewhere in the middle. And I was like, I'm not gonna watch this shit. The manga's like cool. I can like let go of the bullshit,
shit,
but like this one. So he kicks it's like the 40-yard Magnums. I'm forgetting Yoshi. I forgot his name. But it's his debut into the game. He's playing for the Diamondbacks, or whatever the fuck, the Diamond Devil Bats, and or Demon, whatever. And he kicks his first kick, and like somebody jumps up and like they block his kick, right? But then it hits his hand, and then for like 30 seconds, he's sitting there struggling, holding the ball, man. Like push it back. He's like, it's so powerful. And then his arm gets like blown back. And he kicks the field goal, and you're just like, all right, dog, yeah, no, like that's a little too.
No fucking way.
He's in the air, he's holding.
I gotta check it out.
No.
That's hilarious.
Go look up, yeah, bro. If you do watch the anime, just go to YouTube and look up scenes. Like,
I gotta check out Ice
so stupid.
I gotta read it. I honestly prefer to read anyways than to watch most things, because a lot of times I like to see what the original author intended. But also I feel like there's a lot more manga than there is anime, and there's a lot more good manga that don't get animated. You know, that you
that is
hear
true.
about. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit that I've read that I know will never get animated, but it's so fucking
like Chainsaw Man.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
actually,
he's coming.
No, it got confirmed.
But it's wild that like
I didn't think it would.
That a manga right now is so popular that like manga is outselling American comics, and not just by like a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
a lot.
But you know how thick is, bro? You know how thick a goddamn manga is.
But then you gotta understand the detail of mangas versus comics too is just different. But I will say, as far as manga go, you gotta also look at manhwa, also the Korean publishers.
Oh yeah.
Because a lot of them are coming up too. A lot of them have gotten anime, and then also like Solo Leveling Warrior. I think they need an anime fucking ASAP. It is literally the greatest manhwa made. It's fucking fantastic. If you've never heard of it, it's colored. It's really fucking good, gorgeous detail. Great anime or great story.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Solo Leveling Warrior. It's not even gonna be on the regular site. Just type in Solo Leveling Warrior on Google, and it's its own site for it.
Okay.
So fucking good, man. I know it got picked up for. It has an OST that got leaked on the internet, and some other shit. And I know they were talking about some studio trying to pick it up, but I'm not sure what's going on with that. But I know Chainsaw Man got confirmed.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's just cool to see like after all these years. Like, I don't know when y'all were born, but yeah,
It wasn't popular when we were growing up.
92.
No, and I started getting into it like late '90s.
Yeah,
started,
same.
Like other people introduced me
Mid
to it.
'90s, late '90s.
And yeah, no, like it was not a thing all through 2000s. Like I used to be embarrassed to go to the bookstore and like get my manga and shit.
Yeah.
Like I used to hide it, but now it's like it's outselling American comics. It's kind of wild. There's lots of reasons for it,
especially being.
Honestly, people know how to express their feelings now. Because back then, the world was different.
Being a kid back then, and then also just depending on where you grew up at as well, and then depending on other things, skin color, all these different things. Like being able to be into the shit we're into now back then was looked down upon. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but now you wear it proudly on your sleeve. Like just everything I wear now.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna own it. So.
Shit, my uncle was the biggest investment owners in that shit.
No, for real. Back then it was like, I feel like it was a hit every month. A hit came out. Like Code Geass come out this month, Death Note another month. Like S-Cryad another month. Fucking.
I wish they bring S-Cry back. That shit was good.
S-Cryad was so fucking.
That shit was good.
Like, you know, so it was like every month I would cut on Adult Swim, and it's something I had never seen before on there.
Yeah.
Or even Toonami. You know what I'm saying? For a long time. Toonami had a lot of hits for a long time.
They marathon saved a lot of that shit.
Dragon Ball saved Toonami. To
be honest. Honestly, I feel like
also saved itself.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they saved each other. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Toonami being able to broadcast Dragon Ball Z across the West was what made it so popular in the West.
Because it was airing on regular TV before that. Like I actually remember growing up before I even super got like early '90s. Before I super got into like anime and manga from other friends. One of my best friends growing up, his dad was watching Dragon Ball, and I used to come in like they'd be watching it on. I don't remember if it was like Fox, but like regular TV at a certain time it came on. And I remember seeing the Cell Saga like when it was first being released in the US, like way before Toonami was a thing.
My uncle
was getting the VHS tapes. My uncle was getting the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Do you go to the website? Toonami Aftermath?
Nah, now for Dragon Ball specifically, I go to they have Dragon Ball-official.com, like they have their own official website. I go check shit for that.
Yeah, I was like, if you bored, Toonami got like a server where it's called Toonami Aftermath, where they just play like all the Toonami, like all anime
classics.
But classics, but it plays like TV. So like while you watch it, they have a commercial break with the Toonami shit like playing and shit. So it's pretty cool.
Oh no, I don't like commercials.
I mean, it's not real commercials like the Toonami shit, but
it's YouTube commercials.
Cool. No, YouTube commercial. It's like, remember Tsunami Dude used to have his own little breaks?
Like the little, yeah.
And he was talking to like the hologram robot and shit.
It's kind of lit. I might hop on it.
Yeah, I'll probably put it on.
Because I remember Samurai Jack was fucking lit on Tsunami.
Bruh.
Oh, it's still lit on Aftermath too, for sure.
No, Samurai, I own the entire series. I own all of the comics.
You got the Funko Pops too?
I don't do Funko Pops, but I actually, some of the manga that I have, or not manga, the comics that I have, so you say manga right now. Comics I have are like signed by the artists and stuff. Gendy Teravatsky is one of my favorite animators of all time. He's got a show out called Primal. Go watch that
Primal?
shit.
Oh, that's the same dude.
The caveman.
Yeah, I seen it.
Yeah, tooth or spear and fang.
I need to finish it. It's on HBO Max.
Yeah, it is, and the 2 seasons are out, and it's go watch Primal. Primal is phenomenal. But that's it.
So I have a random question since you're still here. How do you So I read all of the Invincible comics recently.
Oh wow.
Have you read them all?
I've read most of it, and I know what happens.
Yeah, okay,
at the
cool.
end.
Invincible. That's that show on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who got this? Who on them see that account? I need to watch it. I need to watch that for sure.
But yeah, so how do you feel about it? I mean, what's your opinion as a
the show or
comic?
the comic?
The comic, because it is different.
Yeah. And I'm curious about how like they're gonna touch on certain points that I don't know that if we can't, because like is that spoilers and people bitch about that stuff now. But like there are a few scenes that like notoriously, if you read the comic, like everybody's like, how are they gonna handle this?
The Anissa scene.
Pretty much
for a big one. I'm curious about that as well.
But yeah, no, I mean, they definitely made changes to the comics, such as like race swapping homegirl, the girlfriend.
That was,
and like how they handle stuff. It's whatever. I don't feel like it does anything for the story.
I didn't mind the race swap so much as I minded the way she acted throughout the show.
Right.
I thought, because she didn't act like that in the comic.
No.
So it was like, it was so weird to have that. It just made me hate it.
They wanted to make, I don't know. They wanted.
I guess they wanted to set up for the alley oop for girl maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Later.
Like at some point.
But yeah, so there are. I mean that's arguably like a big change from the comic.
Yeah.
But I mean overall, no, I'm really excited, and I think that Amazon and even why is my mind going blank? Like really, Amazon is doing wonders for like third-party publishing companies, which Image is arguably, again, like you could argue between it and Dark Horse being like the top 3 or top 4 with Marvel and DC.
Right.
But then you have The Boys, which is put out. Is that Boom?
And I read all of that also.
Yeah, that's
really
good.
And the ending was
that's
fucking
way
insane.
different.
I haven't even
Are you watching the new
The
season?
Boys is fucking. I haven't seen the latest season yet.
God,
is
bro.
it good?
Yeah, I've only watched the first episode, and it's
different.
It's intense.
I know they were going in a different direction.
Like I know,
in the comic,
yeah, different set aside, like because like the comic gets super fucking gross and gory. And
it does.
Shit that they do.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do some of that within the show for sure, and it's just like holy fuck.
What's the guy that's in all black? His name again?
Noor.
So I'm very curious about how they're gonna execute him
towards the end specifically.
Yeah, because I don't think they're gonna do it the same.
No.
Just based off how they're both built.
Yeah, I mean they changed Stormfront. They changed. They've been changing a lot.
I feel like we could spoil this because I'm pretty sure y'all are gonna read it, and I know that this is probably not gonna happen in the show. But so like Homelander in the show or in the comic,
That's Superman, right?
Black Noir, which is a guy who wears all black. The guy Black Noir who wears all black. He is a genetically created version of Homelander.
He's basically a clone.
He's a clone of him made to execute him.
Be the safe,
like a failsafe.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And but he's insane too.
And he kills.
Yeah.
He kills. And he did some fucked up shit to Homelander.
Yeah. Like everything, like the bad PR, everything that Homelander gets blamed for was actually done by him. So at the very end of it, it almost makes you like, oh fuck, like Homelander, like you thought that he was a jerk or a bad person, but he was, and he is.
He is, but
like,
he didn't do a lot of the shit he thought he was.
Through a lot of it, so you're like, oh damn, like what really happened? No, I think that they're going to do something entirely different. I highly doubt that Black Noir is going to
just based off how they're executing it.
But they're definitely trying to do the comic justice. So like they're trying to live up to it.
The Boys is cool.
It's gory, bro.
I wanted Jupiter's Legacy to be good.
That was terrible.
Fucking abysmal.
It was. I watched the first season.
And wasn't there some tie-in series that came out too? I think it was loosely related. Oh, it was animated. What's the villain series? Animated? The villain series. It's a bunch of villains. It's super villains. Is that what it's called on Netflix?
What's
I'm not
It's
super villain?
it's a show about supervillains like robbing. Netflix.
Oh, the one we watched. You talking about
Super Crooks.
Super Crooks? Yeah.
That show's fucking good.